Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Big hair day.
What day isn't a big hair day?
Wow.
What? Oh, that hurts.
How you doing? You know, I've got to figure this. Oh.
It's the top one.
No, that one was loose. This one?
Yeah. See where it falls to? I like because the sound's better.
Oh.
Because when you get too close to it, it starts overmodulating.
People are already throwing money at you, Brock.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know. What?
Let's see. Brock, you almost made me cry by playing Jackson Browne for opener. Besides the fabulosity and sassiness of Wendy, duh. Doctor is short. Oh, okay. Dr. Gerald. Thank you, Dr. Gerald. Now we know it's not DR. See, sometimes you just got to tell us. And it helps when you just throw money at us because that certainly makes us pay attention. I'm teasing. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday.
We've got a doctor in the house, apparently.
Yes, I'm super excited that it's Friday. Actually, I don't know. I don't really care if it's Friday. I enjoy coming and talking to you guys every day, which is probably one of the greatest gifts of my life, is that when I wake up in the morning, literally, I'm excited when I go to bed. I'm excited when I go to bed.
It's because you don't have a sleep number.
I take a REM sleep and I go to bed, and I'm excited when I wake up in the morning because I get to see you guys. I mean, I don't know how many people get to say that, but it's true. It's true. It's true. Hey, remember, Tulip Blooms. This is it. This is the week. This is the end. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Cousin Allison.
Cousin Allison.
Happy birthday, Cousin Allison.
Here's the thing.
Hopefully she's here.
I get told, remind me. Now, on my birthday, on the rundown, it doesn't say today's Brock's birthday.
Today, it says
Cousin Allison's birthday. Like, what?
Well, I love Cousin Allison.
Is she like the mascot now? Or?
No, she's like my little sister. She's wonderful. What is she now? 48?
I thought you're not supposed 47. To tell a woman's age.
47. She 9 years younger than I am? 7.
She's 29.
She's 49.
So she's 29 for the 20th time.
I don't know. Hey, I want to tell you, Tulip Blooms, before I get out of control here and lose my place, Tulip Blooms is doing a buy one, get one free right now on their Rainfall lotion line. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful kind of lotion. You're going to love it. Buy one, get one 50 off. Promo code, by the way, is always me, Wendy, but you go to tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. And I'm just going to tell you what, I've been pimping it because I love it. And this is my new jam right now. It's the Serene Gel Cleanser. Right. What I do is I like to wash off my makeup first, and then I put this on my hands and I really rub it in my face, and then I rinse it every night. And I'm telling you what, you don't even have to put moisturizer on. It is fabulous. Fabulous. Also, really, you guys don't need to know this, but it's true. The velour massage oil is that's my jam. I put the castor oil blend on my belly and on my back every day because the owners are like, it sinks in, it goes deep into your body, into your organs. It's good for you and your organs. And I'm like, okay, right. And I put it all over. I love it. It's wonderful to have something that nobody really knows about that I get to do for me. For me. There you go. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. This is it. The end of today is the end of this buy one, get one 50. If you've got somebody in your life that you'd like to buy something special for, check it out. Man or woman. The massaging oil, by the way, if you have really dry cuticles, heels that are dry, anything on elbows, not anymore. They're fabulous. Brock's trying to get me to buy him a freaking mattress from Ghost Bed.
What?
Please.
Where did that come from?
It's Friday. I'm feeling sassy.
Oh, it's Fake News Friday.
It is not. Look, my hair is lopsided. Hold on. I have to fix this because you know how it matters. Oh, wow. We're almost ready to go. Ooh, I forgot, Mom. I forgot him today.
I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I was locked and loaded this morning with it.
I'm telling you what, it just gets becomes part of your day, except for me today. For some reason, I didn't do it, but bloodflow 7. I'll tell you all about it. Look at more people throwing money at us. Ooh. $5 now. What are you doing? Griffin lady, what do you do? Whatever happened to the NSA? That's not towards the mattress fund.
Fake news.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you and happy Friday all across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, we've got the best job in the world right here in this little studio Brock and I share in the middle of basically nondescript Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because we get to talk to you every single day about stuff that's going on. We get to bust open bad actors. We get to tell you stuff that nobody wants you to know about. And we get to do it all 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. And here you are. If you are new, hang out for a while. Check us out. Common sense, conservative values that just makes sense, right? It just makes sense. WendyBellRadio.com is how you follow us, how you join the live video stream. And we are now less than 100,000 podcast downloads away from 8 million. Thank you for that and welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Now, wherever you are, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's no chance that your city is as messed up as the city of Pittsburgh right now with construction. Brock, am I right? Is everything under construction? Detours are under construction?
Detours on detours are under construction.
There's no way to get through the city of Pittsburgh. It's ridiculous. All of the water lines are being replaced. It's one of those projects where they're like, you know, we haven't done this since the late 1800s. Maybe we should get our best people on it. And so all the jackhammers come out. They bust up the streets, replace the water lines. And then if the roads aren't being worked on, they're being repaved. And you're grateful for it, right? You're grateful for it. You're like, okay, I'm sure my water rates won't go up at all. But of course, we're delighted that the change is happening, but the traffic is crazy. So today was one of those days. I'm in the car trying to get out of my neighborhood, which is like the hardest part of the entire day. It's not the highway. I can deal with the highway. It's all of the people on the roads with the detours and whatnot. Finally get onto the road. And every which way I tried to go, there was somebody going 45 miles an hour on the open highway. Right? So I try to get around that person, and then there's a school bus who pulls into my lane. And then I have to get back behind the guy I was trying to Scooby behind the other time, scoob over to the left, and there's somebody else right there. And you finally get to this point where you realize you're just supposed to not care. Just stop. Stop looking for ways around. Stop getting frustrated by the circumstances that you can't fix. You're going nowhere quickly, so stop trying to make it happen. And I finally did that about halfway on my way into work. Finally sat back and was like, I'm just going to hang out in this lane. Of course, it was the slowest lane through the tunnel, right? It is what it is. And I'm like, I can't control this. So I can't get myself all worked up about it. You know, that's one thing in traffic. It's probably a safe, sane thing to consider when you're in traffic. I can't change it. So there's no use in me getting frustrated by it. Easier said than done. But when you're in traffic, because the people who are in charge of your community are failing your community, and when I say traffic, I mean proverbially here, it's a whole different story. When you know that you've got somebody who is not responsible, who's not qualified, and who's not honest, right? Beyond that, who's just probably a bad person and definitely a bad actor. And that person is in charge of your open highway in your community, whatever it is. And you're stuck doing whatever you're doing slowly, inefficiently, because that's the way it's supposed to be. You can deal with it for a while, and then finally you snap. Well, there was a gentleman today at a press conference. This is amazing. This is just hours ago. There was a press conference for Mayor Karen Bass in Los Angeles. It's not really a press conference. It's a photo op because she's got Spencer Pratt breathing down her neck. And she's like, oh my gosh, I have to get out and get some photo ops. So her entourage takes her to some groundbreaking. And it's the obligatory, all of the nameless idiots. And then the mayor, the biggest of them all, with the stupid shovels and the smile like, yay, we're doing something fabulous with your tax dollars, right? And there's a heckler in the audience. So this whole groundbreaking thing is for some new housing, some new interim housing, as they call it in Southern California. We're not actually going to fix the housing problem. We're not going to get the homeless off the street and actually put them somewhere. We're going to do some interim mumbo jumbo, which probably is a giant grift. Well, it is a giant grift. And there's a guy who shows up at this shovel-ready event where Karen Bass and all of the media are trying to block him out because he's heckling her. And he's saying, hey, Karen, what about the $400 million you spent on some stupid program called Inside Safe to get people off of the streets and into housing? What about that? You only got 5,800 people off the streets, $400 million. And he literally, this is that moment when you're in traffic and you lose your ever-loving mind. It's that road rage moment. This fellow has it. We've got to play it for you. Now, if you're watching, pay close attention to the members of the media who are there doing their obligatory, I'm the propaganda wing of the Democratic Party, so I'm going to do a story on, yay, Karen Bass, she's so fabulous. And so they try to block this guy out. He's not having anything to do with it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a pissed off Angelino who's tired of sitting in traffic that nincompoop Karen Bass has created. Here's the moment of break.
Karen Bass is here to talk about homelessness. Inside Safe, we have spent how much, Karen? How much? $400 million to house, 1,500 people permanently? You are a failure. An absolute failure. And you come here for your little media event. You have failed the city of LA, Karen. We are spending hundreds of thousands per person in Inside Safe. Half of them end up back out on the street. The city is filthy. You've cut funding for everything. You've cut funding for street services, for street lighting, for sanitation. Don't touch me. Please don't touch me. You could be nice. I don't care about your media event. The people of LA have real questions. We're about to get started. I'll wait till she talks. I'll let Hugo talk. You guys don't want to have your little rally for Karen Bass. I don't give a damn about Karen Bass. She has lied to the voters, and she's been an absolute failure. And everybody just sits around just pretending. Let's put on this little act right here. Go ahead, Hugo. I'll let you speak.
William, thank you. Our current mayor, Karen Bass.
Boo! Boo!
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
You guys know how huge that is? That is so giant. That's not Southern California. That's not what people in Southern California do. They don't show up and go up against the machine. That guy has had it. And he's not the only one. That guy should tell Karen Bass everything she needs to know about what's at stake. She has failed the city of Los Angeles. She hid the after action report about the Palisades fire. Why? She says, well, her office needs to make some refinements to it. You know what that's code for? The details are blistering. It shows that she wasn't ready. The fire machines, the department's rigs weren't ready. The hydrants weren't there. The reservoirs weren't filled. And she thinks that she can fail upwards for 4 more years and not be heckled. And this is where it gets very interesting. The gentleman works his way around as the media are trying to carve out Karen Bass so they could do their obligatory things. And he's like, how dare you, media? You're the ones who caused this problem. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen anything like it in Southern California.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I don't have to go anywhere.
Yes, well, let me...
No, she's a failure. She spent $400 million on Inside Safe and only permanently housed 1,500 people. 1,500 people. $400 million we spent on her program. She has tried to fight audits nonstop. I am not. I don't care. I'm trying to get answers. She has been running for years, and she won't answer the questions. Karen Bass, why have you been fighting an audit of Inside Safe? Why? You guys just want to sit there and run cover for her. Shame on all of you. All of you. You ask her softball questions. We have real problems. You guys are the problem. You're a failure. You're not asking. You have never asked real questions.
Wow. I'm telling you, that is the moment that Karen Bass lost the mayor's race. That is the moment that taps into the fury of people who are normally calm, who are normally quiet, who go about their business and stay out of the way. They have had enough. Look, the Karen Basses of the world are no different than the Anthony Faucis. They're no different than the dissent of the Supreme Court. How? We're going to stonewall or slow walk or completely bury the truth so that we can be exonerated for our own culpability. People have had enough. For somebody to show up and get in the way and expose not just a loser, mayor and Karen Bass, but to expose the complicit, complacent, and colleague media that's there to let it happen. This is the beginning of a new day. Spencer Pratt he's championed and carved into the momentum that Donald Trump had. Why? 1, people are done. 2, people want real solutions. And 3, people are willing to try anything because everything up until now hasn't worked. The moment, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it all changes today. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Carl Higbie with the greatest takeaway of what Donald Trump did when he rolled into China like a boss. Next on the Wendy Bell radio network. That doesn't happen. I can tell you that doesn't happen. No way, no how. And it did. So this Inside Safe program that the gentleman is yelling about, actually, they've got, I think it's $300 million that they used of taxpayer money to create this interim housing for the homeless or for what have you. And they've gotten 5,800 people off the streets. That's $52,000 spent per person. And here's the kick in the balls. 40% of those people are back on the street again. So 60% of the people, it's doing okay. 40% are back on the street for $52,000 a person. What are they doing? They're grifting. The photo ops are meant to cover it up and create the illusion of some kind of progress. The media are obvious willing compatriots in this effort. And it takes one guy, whether it's one heckler who's pissed, or it's one man, Spencer Pratt, who lost everything, to tap into that unspoken to American and say, I see you. I will represent you. Game over. I'm going to say it right now. Spencer Pratt is going to be the mayor of Los Angeles. Okay, that said, my crystal ball, my magic 8 ball. Hey, magic 8 ball, how do you like me now? You're fabulous isn't an answer.
Well,
I know. My origin is, however, the easiest, most inexpensive thing to add to your diet. It is 1 scoop, 10 grams of collagen peptides from getnativepath.com/Wendy. There is nothing in your body that does not benefit from collagen added into it. And what a scoop of this does, and I love it because it's, oh my goodness, we're almost, oops. You take a scoop, put it in whatever you're drinking, or put it in your coffee or in your yogurt, your cereal, what have you in the morning. You don't taste it. It dissolves immediately without clumping. And what does collagen do? Collagen does everything from your gut health to helping you maintain a reasonable weight to lubricating your joints, cartilage, joints, what am I talking about? Tendons and what all this, bone strength, hair, skin, and nails. Basically the skin too, that crepiness of your skin. Get this in your life. Get it in your diet. Getnativepath.com/Wendy every single day. It's one of those things. It's part of my shtick, and it's up to 45% off for the Wendy Bell Radio family. So getnativepath.com/Wendy. Try it for at least 2 months. This is going to last you 2 months, right? And it's cheap. So you're not going to have to break the bank to get it with their discount. Try it for 2 months. And then write me, wendybellradio@gmail.com, because I think you're going to start to notice what I began to notice after 2 months. Changes. And it's wonderful. Anyway, Brock had to hustle to get that sound in. I saw that this morning and was like, there's been a disturbance in the force in Southern. Everything. I want you to consider Karen Bass for a moment. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. I'm going to play Carl for you in a sec. Think about Karen Bass. There's an after-action report about her response to the Palisades fire. And they're slow walking it to the public. Why ever would that be? Because it's damning, because it illustrates how incompetent, how inept, how greedy these people are. It's the same thing as Ken Martin at the DNC. He's not releasing the after-action report of the 2024 slaughter of Kamala Harris. Why? Because it is damning to the Democratic Party. Why did Ketanji Brown Jackson, Elena Kagan, and Sonia Sotomayor slow walk the descent to the redistricting vote, right? It all begins to make a lot of sense when you line up similar stories in a row. And then you bring in the bull in the china shop. Here comes Donald Trump. Donald Trump representing America, representing with 30 of the world's smartest, richest innovators from tech and all this other stuff. And he brings them along with him. Carl Higbie with the greatest, I think, debrief of what it is about the man, President Trump. Why is it that a country shows up, a country like China, shows up with a red carpet welcome the way they did? I think Carl nailed it last night. Listen.
We got the right guy at the helm, too. The other thing that I don't think people appreciate is the charisma of Trump. Before you roll your eyes and call me some sycophant, just hear me out, folks. This is personal. I have met Trump a ton of times, and this never ceases to amaze me. And you can sometimes see it on TV, but in person, this is his most remarkable trait. That's why he flew all the way to China to do this. I'm not blowing smoke here. When you meet Trump in person, it's actually an entirely different experience. And I'm going to tell you something that's probably going to get me in trouble with my wife, but it's worth it. Here we go. She was not, and I mean not, a fan of Trump early on. She was a Jeb exclamation point person all the way, okay? I brought her to meet Trump reluctantly, and after that meeting, she turned to me and she was like, wow, like this guy made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. And all of a sudden, she was on board. It was actually, I've seen it 100 times with people that have just met Trump for the first time. Trump has this innate ability to woo people in person. Do not sleep on this ability for this trip either. I've watched This turned people from haters into positive people with my own two eyes. His ability to get you to do what he wants and convince you that that's the right thing, and then you enjoy the journey, it's uncanny. We saw that with just in the first few hours where Trump announced that China would now be buying 200 Boeing planes in this batch from us. And Xi has also seemed very open, more open than ever before, to an even partnership because he knows that China needs America, and a tariff war is and probably will be the end of China, even saying this.
A stable bilateral relationship is good for the world. China and the United States both stand to gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation. We should be partners, not rivals.
But also, if that wasn't enough, Trump brought the people with him who control companies that have equal value to the GDP of China. Elon Musk, Tim Cook, or Tim Apple as Trump calls him, DJ Sol from Goldman Sachs, NVIDIA's CEO, tons of other folks that you see standing there. And with the swipe of a pen, those mega big business tycoons, they could crush China with the direction of their company. It's another power move. But the one thing that I have been most impressed about is the lack of details in these internal negotiations, because most attendees were, or actually probably all of them, were hand-selected in part because they could keep their mouth shut while the summit was going on. Also because personal devices, as we're told, were surrendered for much of this trip, not only for security reasons, but also so the only part of this that gets out is the final product of the deal. But hey, not like we haven't been right so far, so maybe we'll be playing this one back in 2 weeks as an I told you so to the legacy media.
Well, there you go. And then for the left, that's like Donald Trump has no plan. He's like a fly-by-night, willy-nilly, doesn't know what he's doing. I'm like, look at how we're paying for it. Gas prices are out of control. I agree. I filled up today. I didn't even need a full tank, and it was $65. Okay. I can take that on the chin for a while for us to, I don't know, eliminate the largest state sponsor of terror in the world, to stop them from ever getting a nuclear bomb, at least in my lifetime. Oh, I don't know, to open up free trade in the Strait of Hormuz to get people the stuff that they need. I don't know, to get trade deals that make the American golden age not just something Donald Trump promises, but something the American people realize. Now, juxtapose that with my drive into work today. Detours and speed bumps and roundabouts and obstacles and people going 45 in the fast lane. That's what it's like to be in the Democratic Party with candidates like Karen Bass who hide from people who shout at them. If she had said to that heckler, "Sir, come over here, have a conversation with me. Let me talk to you. We're going to do this event, and I know you want to heckle it, but I want to have a conversation with you. I want to hear what you have to say." That would require somebody who's got an actual fix, somebody who has an actual care, somebody who's not running for re-election to stay insulated from any kind of culpability. Therein, ladies and gentlemen, is the difference. We have President Trump. America does. Democrats have losers who hate President Trump because of it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, even if you don't care about aliens, you should care about why the people who know all about them are so adamant about not telling you the truth about it. Why is that? Next. We're not going to release that report to you.
Can you imagine if she did?
Why? Why ever would that be, Karen? Because of all the stuff in there that showed what a clod you are, purposeful. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, here's the people are throwing money at you.
Wow.
Here's the thing that people don't understand in politics. If Karen Bass were to say exactly what you said to that gentleman with the cameras on, that's now the story.
That's now she's
her. That's advertisement you can't afford.
Instead, she's doing this with the shovel.
Because now I've got a report on there was a heckler today, but Karen Bass took him aside and they're going to have a conversation.
What did Spencer Pratt do? TMZ's like, oh, Spencer Pratt's shacking up at this big hotel, Beverly Bel Air, whatever the hell it is. And he's like, yo, how about we do a little correcto on that?
Yeah.
And so he dialed them real quick. And he's like, look, I don't have a home, you jackass. She burned it down. Lexus, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. You don't have to give me $100 for me to say happy anniversary. I mean, 75 will do it, but happy anniversary. I'm super happy for you. Many more. I don't know. Lexus 350 didn't give us any of the lugubrious details there. I want to tell you guys about Wendy Loves Gold. And this is one of those testimonials that I got back in the day that I think speaks volumes, because it's what happens when you call, not when I tell you what happens when you call 855-927-5557. You're like, why would I call and ask about gold? I can hardly pay my gas bill. How am I going to get gold? Well, here's the funny thing. If you have an IRA, if you have a retirement plan, you'd be surprised how you can get gold and silver, platinum and palladium into your portfolio without spending any money. You just have to add some stuff to it. It's doable with my friends at wendylovesgold.com. So this is what I got from Chris. Hey, Wendy, I was looking at moving a 401k to gold. This is one of those things that's very interesting to think about. I'd reached out to several other companies about getting IRA gold into my portfolio. Most were high pressure about making the deal now. Then I reached out to Texas Bullion Exchange. I worked with Troy at the company. He did multiple phone meetings with me explaining how it worked, and the process wasn't pushy, sent literature in the mail. He'd even sent his family picture in the literature. I got one of those too with my guy. They send you a picture of themselves. This is who I am. I'm Spencer Pratt. I'm just like you are. I feel the same way about this country that you do. I'm stressed out about money the same way you are, but I have something that might help you. That's what it means. I worked with him over the next several weeks. It was a great experience. We worked on the gold and coins to put in my IRA. He's reached out multiple times since then, even after the deal was made, to make sure I was satisfied and to see if I had any questions. Would totally recommend wendylovesgold.com. Great company and awesome customer service. Thank you, Chris. 855-927-5557. I just like normal people, right? That's what you're going to get when you call a health revolution. And we'll talk about them in a little bit, but just normal dudes who want for their families exactly what you want for yours. And they're like, I think I can make it easier for you to get there. Okay, I'm there. Did the heat just come on or something?
Yes.
Holy Moses. Whew. Thank God. I was going to wear some like long sleeve thing today because it's typically freezing in here.
You mean like the shirt?
Yeah. What? Oh. You can remind me, you jerk.
I shouldn't have to remind you what to wear every day.
Wow. Okay. Get out of the picture. Hold on. It has to. Okay, there we go. You guys know all of my secrets about the white balancing or the iris or whatever the hell it's called. How's everybody? It's Friday. What's everybody doing this weekend? Give me a story. Tell me something in the comments.
There is no pet show tomorrow, just so everybody knows.
Give me something in the comments. Aloha, Sherry. Hello, Darius. Ahoy, he says. Hi, Demanda. Hi, Al. You know what? Al is the guy. Al Good Cool in the comments. He's the one that crunches all of the numbers for me and tells me where I am on the leaderboard and how many likes and dislikes and how much our momentum is. And he's so frustrated because he thinks the Rumble algorithm at this time is lousy and that we don't get credit for what we should get credit for. And so he takes it like personally and he gets upset about it. And I was like, I love you, right? That you care about what we do that much, that you take it personally if you feel like we don't get the credit we should get. But I get all that I can get with you guys, and I'm grateful for you. So thank you.
No show on Sunday.
I'm going to be at the Twins' last soccer game ever.
I will be drinking heavily.
Wow. At 9 a.m.?
I didn't know when the game was, but
where are you going to be drinking heavily? Your friend's house?
Home.
How? Why? What's going on?
Friend's house. I don't know any friends.
What's happening on Sunday?
Nothing.
Why would you be drinking heavily then?
Oh, I'll be drinking beer while watching the ball game.
Oh, it sounded like you had a problem. I was going to intervene for you.
Really?
All right, let's see what you guys are talking about.
Really?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm almost out of beer.
116 comments. I love that. All right. I want to know in the comments section, do you believe what you're hearing about the aliens and all of that stuff? Or do you believe it's all just some big op? Hi, John. Now, we were just talking in the commercial break. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio programs. You know, Karen Bass missed such a great opportunity. If Karen was authentic, if Karen cared about Los Angeles, if Karen cared about the people of Los Angeles, which she needs to convince people that she does, and nobody believes that she does, and so she's failing already. For that heckler guy that we played you in the opening segment to basically be like, boo! It's like the Princess Bride, boo! And he's calling her out. Hey, Karen, how about the $400 million you squandered on some project that hasn't fixed any part of the homelessness problem? What about that? If she were smart, she would have stepped out of whatever photo op she was in, and all of the cameras would have been like, and turned around onto her. And if she had gone over to that man and said, would you please give me 10 minutes? Let me finish this opportunity to break ground on whatever new dumb project we're working on. I want to hear what you have to say. Let me get through this, and then I will come and I will talk to you, and we will figure this out. Now, all of a sudden, you've got the press corps like, wow, she's so responsive. But what did they do? They turned their backs to block the heckler from Karen Bass, like did this to cover her so that she could get in her freaking Suburban with her security detail and drive away. She ran away. She is the runaway mayor, ladies and gentlemen. That is what you get when you vote Democrat. Don't you dare ask me what I'm doing. I don't talk to you. I don't answer to you. Spencer Pratt's like, yo, I am you. Except I don't have a house either. Right? Missed opportunity. All these people who are coming out of the woodwork, who are pushing the status quo, who are moving the envelope, who are stepping over the line of what's always been done, exposing the media for sucking and exposing these candidates who are terrible, terrible for us. Let's talk now about what I think. I usually don't talk about this whole UFO files thing so early on during the show because we talk about whatever's going on with Iran. But right now, this to me is one of the biggest stories. Now, does it surprise you at all that people basically have come out of the woodwork now that the seal has been broken? And they have said, more and more people have come forward and saying, I'm a farmer. I'm out in the fields late at night. I can tell you, I've seen things in the sky. I've seen things come down from the sky, what have you. And people are like, yes, there are alien beings. Are they roaming around with us? I have no idea. Their spacecraft has crashed here in America and other places on planet Earth. Are you down with that? I'm down with that. I can digest that. Yes, I can. But I want to know why such the veil of secrecy. I think everybody wants to know. Why don't we have all of the details? President Trump said, and he wrote an executive order on it, release all of the files. It's like Epstein, release the files. Except there is an entity above this president that's determining what gets released and what doesn't. And now I understand the president's hacked on this, okay? He is not happy. We are hearing that he wants no more messing around. He says, release the information now. At least that's the scut. In fact, Eric Burleson, who is part of this, the project to release all of these files of all of the secrets in the government to the American people. He's now saying, look, President Trump will soon issue a pretty hard-hitting memo to all of the federal agencies demanding any and all UFO files with stiff penalties for withholding information. He wants it out. And I want you to hear from Eric Burleson himself, the congressman from Missouri who's been on this from the beginning.
I think what we're about to see is a memo come out that will be extremely aggressive towards this release. And the reason is that you're not really going to know what you don't know, right? And so rather than just go trying to chase ghosts throughout all these government agencies, the president is going to issue a memo that requires, with stiff penalties, the release of any and all information and files related to this topic, so they can go about the declassification process.
You're not going to know what you don't know. When the president's like, why don't I know? Who's keeping me from knowing? That stuff's got to stop. Well, in a recent Diary of a CEO podcast roundtable, there's a gentleman named Stephen Bartlett, who's the host, and he has on two gentlemen. One is Dan Farah. He's a director and a producer. The other is a gentleman named Dr. Hal Puthoff, and he's a physicist who has long been involved in government-related UFO alien research projects. They're discussing Elon Musk's likely access to classified alien information because of SpaceX, right? His projects, his contracts, the secrecy agreements, and they're talking about this. There are secrecy agreements that are involved that these people, even though they have knowledge, they're not allowed to pierce. So this is where the host asks why Elon Musk, the guy behind SpaceX, why does he not believe that there are aliens? At least that's what he says. This is a very interesting answer by Dan Farrow, the director and producer.
Because I just, I think Elon, whatever you think about Elon, he is someone that seems to just say what he thinks. And this is part of what's caused his companies a lot of problem, is he seems to be pretty unfiltered. He has been asked multiple times as well if he believes that there are aliens in our galaxy. And he has said on multiple occasions that he doesn't believe that to be the case. And he's launching rockets all the time. So he said, I heard him say, if anyone should know, it should be me. Do you think he knows?
I think that you can't operate in space at the level he does, or operate as a contractor at the level he does, without having clearances that require secrecy. There's all kinds of levels of secrecy. Everyone knows the word classified, right? There's classified projects, but there's also black projects that are unacknowledged special access programs where you literally, by law, required to not acknowledge the existence of the program or anything it does. That's literally the
anything it knows.
Yeah, that's literally they're literally referred to as unacknowledged special access programs.
That would
so
mean
if you're
all of
involved,
his team as well.
So if you're involved with an unacknowledged special access program and someone asks you about it, you have to say you have no idea what they're talking about.
So you have to deny any knowledge once you agree to a secrecy deal, even if you're a guy with thousands of satellites in outer space like Elon Musk. Listen.
Elon said that we have 9,000 satellites up there. He's referring to his company Starlink, and not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spaceship. He argues that if aliens were constantly visiting Earth, the aerospace experts who watch the skies every day would be the first to know.
Well, look, NASA also has said for decades that they had no evidence of extraterrestrial life for UAPs, and last Friday, the federal government released a photo of a triangle craft hovering over the 1972 Apollo space mission. So somebody's not being honest,
right?
Which also implies a lot of other people know things that they haven't revealed.
So it seems like everybody lies. Okay. So in the third clip, this is where things get interesting, because the host here, Stephen Bartlett, asks the director producer Dan Farah about what kinds of alien life are there. I mean, you obviously know what kinds. Listen.
And do people think that there's one type of non-human intelligence that's visiting the Earth, or is there many, many types?
People who have been involved in recoveries have said
there are at least four separate types. Now, I have not had direct access to that, but I believe the people who I talk to.
Four different types of life.
4 different types of life, at least. Yeah.
And the people I've talked to, through the process of making the documentary, both on camera and off the record sources, and the people Hal's talked to over the decades, have said that there have been dozens of recoveries of crashed craft in the U.S. alone. Dozens of craft of non-human origin that either crashed organically or caused to crash and then recovered.
Okay, so the next follow-up is logical. Have you ever spoken with anybody who worked on those crashed craft sites?
I've talked off the record with some people who are involved in recoveries. Mm-hmm. They would not go on camera to do interviews. special forces people that would not go on camera and do interviews. One, I actually thought, I've mentioned this in another interview, but one I thought was going to do an interview, and then a couple days before sent me a message saying, after further consideration and long talks with my wife, I decided I'd be forfeiting my life if I participated in your interview. And I thought that was like very unsettling message to get, obviously, but also very specific word choice, you know, forfeiting my life.
What did he know?
He was a very senior special forces guy who had told me he had been involved in multiple recoveries. That's what he told me.
A special forces guy worrying about disclosing what he knew would cost him his life. Huh. But I'm sure those missing and dead scientists are all just a coincidence. Then they start talking about the Disclosure Project. This is Dr. Stephen Greer's project. That was the way in which all of these top-level government officials who learned the truth, basically, could then start dropping on you and on me what they had learned.
Early on in my process, I got connected with the Senate Intelligence Committee and the Senate Armed Services Committee, and they had on their own learned the reality of the situation through the work of OSAP and then ATIP and then the UAP Task Force, and through their own intelligence channels. Leaders on those committees wanted to educate the public about what they could lawfully about this, but they didn't really have a way to do it. It's such a complicated situation. It takes a while to explain it. You can't do it in like a 6-minute news hit on Fox or CNN, or even like a 15-minute, 60-minute segment. You just can't do it. And no one wanted to be the one guy trying to do it. So when I started putting together the film and socializing this safe way for people to step forward, it also quickly became those people's plan for disclosure. That's why Secretary Rubio participated. That's why White House National Security Council members participated. It became, amongst the group of people who had learned the truth, it became the plan for disclosure, the way to bring this information out in a thoughtful way.
Here's what I hear. We've been lying about this for so long, and the lies aren't working anymore. And now we've cracked the door to the truth. How do we get it out there? All this stuff, all these interviews are intended to do that very thing, to get you and me speaking as though, you and I, speaking as though this is just no big deal. And now the question of all questions. Here you go.
Do the presidents of the United States know about this stuff? Are they aware?
Historically, no.
Historically?
Yeah, and even Rubio says on camera that, you know, historically, this has been kept from even sitting presidents.
Now, it's interesting because on the way back from China, President Trump was speaking to members of the press. You know, he does, standing at the door inside Air Force One. And one of the members of the press asked him about basically disclosure and what have you. I'm going to tell you what he said. And open the door, Dr. Robert Redfield, on the CIA whistleblower who basically fingered Fauci as being the lightning rod behind one of the largest and deadliest frauds in world history. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All right. Now I have to go back. Excuse me. I just sucked that down the wrong side. All right, I got to get what he said so I don't botch it. He is not pleased that he does not have all of the details. We can tell you that much. Right? And he wants you to get what you need. He wants you to say what needs to get the response, to get the information you need. Let's see, Trump. Let's do all right, since I said it, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. So this is what I take. I take 2 of these every day, usually first thing in the morning. Today I forgot for whatever reason. And I will tell you that within the first couple hours, I begin to notice a difference. I perk up a little bit, right? The ingredients in Blood Flow 7 are very benign as well. You're not going to see anything that's crazy. Let's see what our ingredients are. Nitrosigine. I have no idea what that is, but it's something that's obviously in here. Green coffee bean extract, green tea leaf extract, turmeric root extract, blueberry, broccoli, tart cherry, and kale, transresveratrol, and bioperine black pepper fruit extract. What does that do for you? All of those ingredients, none of which you notice were from Big Pharma, which is fantastic. All of those ingredients open up your blood vessels so you get more blood flow. That's what it is. It's nitric oxide opening up your blood vessels so that you get more blood going all throughout your body. It allows you to focus more, stay alert longer. You can lift more, walk farther, walk up hills better. And the people who've written me with very similar stories to mine, where there's something in the neighborhood that normally is a tough deal for them to overcome, whether it's a big hill, whatever it is, they're all of a sudden able to power through it, push through it. And they're like, dang, what's up with me? And then they're like, oh, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Juvenon has a wonderful deal right now for the Wendy Bell Radio listeners. You're going to get 30% off in basically everything that they have. So if you go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy, you're going to get the 30% off right away. They also have the Ultra Gold Mail. That's for the male version of this, but Bloodflow 7 works for everybody. And it's just a phenomenal product that I'll never live without. I'll never go without. It's just one of those deals. Game changer for me in my personal experience at age 56. I feel the way I did when I was in my 30s, if not better. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy.
No, it's Friday. People throwing money at you.
Are they?
Payday, yeah.
What the bejabbers? $50 Naz fan, Wendy and Brock need to be on the radio in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. WBR is head and shoulders better than what we have here. Oh, thank you. Well, why don't you get on the horn and call those people and be like, pow. Wendy's cheap and easy. You should take her. I'm most assuredly not cheap. Easy.
So you are easy?
I'm easy to please. I think I'm pretty easy to please. I think I am.
I like the beer fund donation. Yeah. I wasn't invited to the game. So how was I supposed to know when it was?
I don't know.
Is it locally?
Yes, it's Monroeville. I think it's at Gateway. I can go scream for them for one last. Reporting that President Trump's UFO declassification could point to a possibility that angels and demons exist, not aliens. You guys, it's getting wild. Hard to know what to believe and what not to believe, but welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Trump on Air Force One was like, I think everybody should know. I think we need to know. And then he said something about the medical advancements, the stuff that we could do with hospitals. He hinted about that. Look, I know I'm a little out there. I believe Donald Trump is a time traveler. And you can be like, that's crazy. And I'm like, no, it really isn't. If you put whatever disbelief you have in your mind aside and you just open yourself up to the possibility that basically we've been lied to about mostly everything, would it be surprising to you at all that there's been a cure for cancer for more than half of a century? Would it be at all surprising to you that there is technology that we know of that would heal somebody who's badly burned, that would prevent you from having a heart attack, or that would cure your cancer? Would that surprise you? Wouldn't surprise me at all. It would just piss me off that they've allowed Big Pharma to get rich off of it, all these other industries, while people needlessly died, right? We'll see what happens. I know the president is aware and he's annoyed. He wants stuff. He wants to know what's going on. Well, I want you to hear this. Dr. Robert Redfield, what was he formerly? Was he the head of this? He was head of the CDC, wasn't he? He was a former CDC head. And he's like one of the few truth tellers during COVID. He was the guy who came out and he was like, I don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't seem like it makes sense. He was one of the few that we could actually glom onto and be like, I believe him over all these other clowns.
And that's why he's former.
That's why he's the former CDC guy. Yeah. So here it is. This is how the left tries to influence how you think. so that they can steer you away from their own fraud, their corruption, their greed. An absolutely blistering rebuke of the Democrats' sexiest man alive contender, Dr. Death, Tony Fauci. Here's Dr. Robert Redfield. He's talking about the CIA whistleblower that we talked about earlier in the week, exposing Fauci for purposefully misleading the CIA's scientists about where COVID came from.
Do you lay any blame on the shoulders of Dr. Fauci, as the whistleblower does?
Well, I think he was very accurate when the whistleblower was very careful in his language. He said that Dr. Fauci was intentional in misleading the American public. And unfortunately, even though he's a colleague and a friend, I think that's true. I think he misled the American public. And I think the reason why the CIA came to the conclusion they did, and the witness said that today, is that Fauci influenced the thinking process of the intelligence community. He didn't influence the FBI because they use their own scientists. And he didn't influence the Energy Department because they use their own scientists. But the CIA used basically scientists that were referred by Fauci and others. And I think they had a narrative from the very beginning that somehow this was going to be from the wet market, which was really in my view, a ruse from the very beginning to turn the attention away. The scientific community got behind it because the last thing the scientific community wanted was the public to realize that it was really the science that actually led to this pandemic. It wasn't some nature accident. It was science. And I argue that it was scientific arrogance that really led to this whole pandemic. And it's a huge pandemic. It killed over 20 million people. And it caused a lot of harm in our nation economically, a lot of harm to our children. I have 14 grandchildren. A lot of them had their schooling disrupted for years. So it was unfortunate. And I do think the witness was a courageous witness. He was highly credible.
He misled the American public, Dr. Redfield says about Tony Fauci. And how many people fell for it? Hook, line, and sinker. We have a small little mashup. It's minutes long. We carved out just about 50 seconds for you. Let's see if you can hear all of the sycophants, basically patting Fauci on the back without critically thinking for a moment about it.
I mean, people believe anything that somebody puts in front of them.
I love you. I think you are a godsend to us.
Thank you for never lying to us.
And for always telling the truth.
Dr. Fauci was always honest.
And Tony, your reputation is second to none. I think we all agree with that. You have to agree with that, John, right? And you have no choice.
Indeed, sir. We are deeply indebted to you and your honesty. Tony, we love you, honor you. Thank God for you.
Stay inside and light your Dr. Fauci prayer candle.
The power of your personal ethic is always on display when you quietly reflect honesty and integrity.
Thank you very much, Father.
You've been doing amazing work.
America's top doc.
The most trusted medical professional.
I'm grateful for the leadership and dedication of Dr. Fauci.
I'm sure you recognize a lot of those voices. Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Bono, right? Obama, all of these people praising Fauci for what? For working on a virus that killed 20 million people, right? So we have to pay attention to the UFO stuff with a lot of care, do we not? When we come back, hour 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, you don't have to ask, why would even Democrats vote for Democrats? Because if this is what they get, like, what? I'll explain next. All of the voices, right? Thank you, Dr. Fauci. You saved everybody, Dr. Fauci. Meanwhile, Brock and I were like,
meanwhile, Donald Trump's like, kind of have to.
Yeah, he's like, well, you kind of don't have a choice because this is the guy that they tell us is the guy. This is the guy who makes more money than I do from the federal government. Riddle me that, right? What a douche. What an abject douche. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. It is what it is, and he is exactly that. Just going to say. All right, health revolution. 2 guys, Tom and Tim. These are my friends, Tom and Tim. Tom and Tim have collectively decades between them in health insurance. They know what people want. They know what the marketplace provides. And their objective has been to hook up people for the best service at the best cost possible. Obamacare screwed all that up. We all know this. And so you've got now Cigna, who's dropping out of this business. And so you've got hundreds of thousands, millions of people probably who are going to get shafted in 2027, who are not going to have any insurance. Thanks, Obamacare. It's been wonderful. So if you're one of these people, or you're paying way too much, or you're self-employed, or you're 26 and just got booted off of your mom and dad's insurance and you need it, or you're just tired of freaking overpaying and you want to create your own policy that you control and not the government. Well, this is where my friends Tom and Tim put their Wonder Twin powers together, and they're like, I've got it. We're going to create a system that works for people. We're going to create a system that helps them save 30 to 60%. We're going to create a system where they can keep their own doctor, choose the doctor they want to go to, pay no copays, and have an absolutely reasonable deductible. How about that? Does that sound good? Yeah. It's called Health Revolution. Info.healthrevolution.net. Put it down, write it down. You don't know when you're going to need it or somebody's going to need it, but you're going to be like, dang it, what was she talking about? Info.healthrevolution.net. 800-868-6187. You call, you go onto the site, fill in some information. They'll get in touch with you and they'll be like, tell me about you. Are you under 65? That's big. You're relatively healthy. That's pretty big. What do you need? Okay, let's create a plan for you. And then families save hundreds of dollars a month, if not more. Say what? That's how it works. There's no open enrollment. You enroll when you want to enroll. No copays, guys. This is it. Info.healthrevolution.net. Check it out. 800-868-6187. I think you'll be very pleased. And Tom and Tim, these are people I trust. I would not tell you about them if you could not trust them too. Okay? Okay. Have you ever you pinched a nerve in your bum? Like something right in the middle and it shoots down your leg? Brock, how about you?
No, I've never had sciatica. What are you talking about? I didn't spend a ton of money on fixing it.
I have a little pinch in my right buttock, and it's bothering me right now. So if you see me fidgeting,
is it painful?
No.
Then it's not.
No, it's an aggravated. I did something because Mary Beth wanted to see how far my blood flow 7 was going to go. So she made me do things that most people shouldn't do. Do you think you can go up to more weight than that? I'm like, I don't know. She's like,
well, that's your fault.
Let's just give it a try.
Because
I could say no.
Yeah, well, that's like a woman saying that these pants make my butt look big.
I would want the truth. I would be annoyed if you didn't tell me the truth.
But when she says, can you do more?
I would say, yeah, probably. I don't know. How am I supposed to know? Let's give it a go. How else do you get better?
But correct. But then you criticize her and say she's evil. I'm just defending Mary Beth.
See, Mary Beth, she smells my weakness and she manipulates it.
What, were you eating Pringles before you got there?
No, she knows when I'm like, when I'm right on the edge, I'm like, when everything's shaking and I'm like, yeah, I've got 5 more. I could do that totally. She's like, okay, good. Let's add 5 more pounds. It's like when she
stretched the hell out of me.
Somebody had to drive home sitting on an ice pack. I'm just going to say.
Ain't no lie. No shame. No shame. I'm not even.
We needed to cool down.
And then I took your spot when you went on vacation.
That's right.
And she was like uber impressed.
That you did well?
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Because she's like, after the first time when.
Well, you were concerned that she had perhaps broken your testes. You're like, ow, I think I hurt something and I don't want to hurt that.
Yeah.
And we're like, do you need an ice pack? And you're like, yes.
Yeah.
I do.
But
I didn't ask for that ice pack back, by the way. I was like,
don't worry. That's why I kept your drinks cold with.
That's so grody. You are so grody.
The nice thing about that time was that I learned what I needed to do. So that was and then she definitely hit on my she made me feel good the next time because she had me do what you hate to do, the sled. pushing the sled.
See, I hurt myself when I pulled
And
it back.
she puts this weight on it, and she's like, she's looking at him, she's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Are you getting on?" And she's like, "What?" I thought she got on. And she's like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I'm like, "That I'm not saying anything other than that weight is going to be not anything for me to push."
So it looks like a sled, and it's got big weights
yeah.
on it that you could stack up, and then she'll climb on top of it for you to push her around too, because another 110 pounds or whatever the heck she weighs is, what a big deal.
Well, it was no big deal for me, but and she's like, "Wow," and I'm like, "Listen, when you have to carry this around all day, attacking on you is nothing."
All right. Well, we're keeping an eye.
Wow.
I look. I'm gonna.
Brooks.
What?
Wendy, when are you going to make a coffee mug that reads, "I'm going to throw punch you and throw you down the stairs"? I can't even get her to. Yeah, but we don't have them.
What?
We just did mugs. It's going to be a while. As head of merch department, I've made that decision.
Oh, Xavier.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
The vaccine prevents you from getting infected.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
If you get vaccinated, you are protected.
Dr. Fauci says he has COVID again for the second time in 2 weeks.
The Department of Justice has dished out a shocking indictment accusing a former senior advisor to Dr. Anthony Fauci for allegedly concealing records amid probes into the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Moving government conversations related to the COVID-19 pandemic to his private Gmail account to avoid public disclosure, plus skirt the Freedom of Information Act from those seeking answers about gain-of-function research.
Sit on this for a second enough to absorb what this means.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. Are you guys so tired of the play? Are you so tired of the choreographed nonsense you and I are supposed to believe? Right? Because polls out right now are trying to tell us that Becerra, Javier, whatever the bejabbers that guy's name is, that he is now in the lead. The guy that nobody at HHS liked, the guy that nobody went to and had anything to do with, the guy that even Alejandro Mayorkas, the biggest dirtbag of them all, was like, yeah, we didn't really like him very much. You didn't do a great job. You didn't do a great job. Wow, pot kettle much, right? All of a sudden, we're supposed to believe he's pulling ahead in the polls, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh, everybody all of a sudden wants this guy who lost almost 500,000 children who came to America under Joe Biden. You're supposed to believe that that guy is beating Steve Hilton. That guy is beating Chad Bianco. That guy who laid such a ferocious and steaming pile during that KTLA TV interview earlier this week. That guy, well, he's the guy that California needs to take over for Gavin Newsom, because Gavin Newsom doesn't suck as much as he should. This guy's better, okay? Please. The reason why we have polls isn't so that they can actually gauge public opinion. It's so that they can see and they can grease the story and feed it incrementally to the people to create the narrative, right? That's how they told us, oh, Hillary Clinton's totally going to win, right? Remember 2016? There was like, Hillary Clinton's got a 94% chance of winning. And we were all like, says who? Right? And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump comes out and he wins. People are like, what? And we're like, I'm sorry, but your lousy polls don't convince any of us about anything. they're doing the same thing with Becerra. And it's really kind of interesting to watch because he's bad news. He's a zero. This is a guy that just continually fails into bigger and better places. And it's not acceptable. And California deserves better. So this is the story. NBC Bay Area Channel 4 News says Becerra is now on top of polling. 19%. He's somehow jettisoned to the top of the heap. He's now past Tom Steyer and Steve Hilton, who apparently are tied at 17%. Do you believe that? I don't believe that. I don't believe that, which is why when I share with you these stories of the aliens and the people who are coming out about the UFOs, and we've got the crash sites and we've got all this stuff, and I'm like, you know what? It's interesting to talk about, but we've been down a lot of very interesting roads before. And I'm not going to be the first one to fall for it. How about that? Okay. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you, he was asked, there was a debate yesterday. And where was it? The final gubernatorial debate took place in San Francisco. And NBC News is trying to tell you this new debate comes as new polling out Wednesday suggests there's been a disturbance in the force, ladies and gentlemen. There's been a shift with a possible new frontrunner. Democrat candidate Xavier Becerra arrived ahead of the final debate in the city at Laborers Local 261 in the Mission District. And he kind of walked in with a little puffed up chest, ladies and gentlemen. He was riding high on this new polling that nobody believes. Period. I don't want you to hear the debate moderator. She's asking, or this person is asking about stopping healthcare fraud. This gentleman is asking healthcare fraud. This is a big story. Nick Shirley exposed it. And then Dr. Oz came in, J.D. Vance. They're blowing up the entire healthcare hospice fraud apparatus. What are you doing? I'm sure you have a plan to stop fraud in California. Don't you, sir, if you wish to be the governor of this great golden state? Let's listen to what Xavier Becerra's plan to stop fraud is.
As governor, how would you crack down on healthcare fraud in the state? You have 1 minute.
Ryan, the same way I did it when I was Attorney General. We established a bureau that dealt with Medi-Cal fraud, working with the federal government. Unfortunately, Trump is a problem because Trump took $1 trillion out of the healthcare system, out of the Medicare, or the Medicaid and the Medi-Cal system. Trump is now trying to deprive California of another $1 billion in health care for Medi-Cal. He doesn't have the right to do that. You still have to prove that there's been fraud and abuse. He is in advance taking money, even though he hasn't proven in court what he's done. So we should go after him, the way I had to do over 120 times when I was Attorney General. We will fight to get those tax subsidies under the Affordable Care Act back for California families. We will fight to make sure we get the money that we send to the federal treasury for Medi-Cal in California, because otherwise 3 million Californians are in jeopardy of losing their health care. We won't let Trump get in our way. And whether it's the Trump gas tax, because he's increased the price by going to war in Iran, or whether it's the tariffs that are a tax, we're going to fight against Trump.
We're going to fight against Trump. So what's your plan to rein in fraud, medical fraud? I mean, 1 of every 3 hospices in America is in LA. Isn't that curious? It's Trump's fault. Trumpity Trump, 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 Trump. And what he said was, Trump is trying to steal $1 billion from the people of California. No. See, they're going to put the brakes on all sorts of money that had been flowing out the door because there were no guide rails. Nobody was paying attention. You guys were defrauding the system. He's put the brakes on that. You've got to prove who you are. You got to prove that you're actually doing one of something. You got to prove that you are offering these services to people before we dole out the money. Javier Becerra is telling people right there, demanding HHS staff. Well, you're going to hear this now. You're going to hear this. This is Xavier Becerra when we heard the KTLA interview. Well, we're going to resuscitate that for you. KTLA, Channel 5 in Los Angeles, sits down with the gubernatorial hopeful, who's apparently the front runner now. And they say, hey, it's kind of concerning. You lost 85,000 kids, apparently. According to the New York Times, the number is much bigger than that. And we're going to resuscitate what he said, because it wasn't his fault at all, he said. And she said that the numbers are being blown out of proportion. Listen. Did you just hear that? Some of these kids, probably because they needed to earn some money, you welcomed them here. They started working in places that were very exploitive. and that it has nothing to do with you. This is the same man who polling is supposed to tell us is leading to be California's next governor. Are you out of your mind? Here he is on that video conference telling members of the HHS, we got to move these migrant kids out faster. This is like industry. This is a factory. This is what Henry Ford, he would have lost money if his assembly lines didn't work faster. We need to process these kids and get them out of HHS custody super fast. Copy? This is that audio.
If Henry Ford had seen this in his plant, he would have never become famous and rich. This is not the way you do an assembly line. And kids aren't widgets, I get it. But we can do far better than this.
Kids aren't widgets, I get it. But we can do far better than this. Hey, California parents and grandparents, is that the guy you want in charge of your children? That's the guy you want failure Gavin Newsom to hand his baton to? That man? See, today's program is entitled Running on Empty because there are no good candidates. There are no viable options for the left. There is no money. There is no messaging other than blame Donald Trump, which is all you heard Xavier Becerra do. Trump, Trump, Trump. He said Trump's name in a 1-minute answer to a moderator's question. He said his name 7 times, and he never said one thing that he would do. It's equivalent to Karen Bass running undercover with her security detail and taking shelter in her Suburban and speeding away from the scene where a man is asking her, hey, Karen, why did you agree to spend $400 million on a project that abjectly sucks? And now you're going to drop more on yet another one. When is enough failure enough? But Xavier Becerra is heading the polls. Do you believe it? I believe none of it. Why should we? Doesn't California deserve better? Don't Democrats deserve better? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, only a fool, they say, is certain, which means there are certainly a lot of fools among us. Starting with what? Hakeem Jeffries. Thank you very much. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Look at the thing I just texted you. I sent you 2 things, but the California polling.
See, the polling is a very interesting way to start a conversation, to start changing your mind about something. That's how they launched the Chinese spy balloon, the weather balloon, to see who's actually going to buy into it. It's like masks. Let's see who's going to buy in. So let's see, a California early voting now versus this point in oh boy. Well,
and Steve Cohen from Tennessee is not running.
Steve Cohen, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, the guy who would be district out, gerrymandered out.
Oh.
The white guy in Tennessee that's part of the Memphis. You'd know if you see him. He's not running for re-election. Oh, I wonder why.
Right?
Because you can't win.
All right, let's see here. So if appetite control is something that you're actively working on and you're having a hard time, a lot of people who wanted to lose dramatic amounts of weight obviously have turned to the weight loss injections. If that's not your speed, if you, first of all, don't trust the shots, secondly, maybe you can't afford it, and third, you want to do something a little bit more controlled that leads to a lot of weight loss, but over maybe a longer period of time so your body can kind of adjust to the weight being lost. I think one of the rubs with Ozempic, and they call it Ozempic face, people become very like sallow and gaunt looking because of the weight loss. And there is some argument for a slower and steadier process so that the body can adjust a little bit more easily. So if you're losing weight and you're exercising, maybe the opportunity to not look so dramatically with the skin, right? This is where GLP-1 Gold comes in from our friends at Juvenon, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. This is all about appetite control. And this is what this does. It's a supplement that tells your brain, basically, it fires that hormone to your belly and says, hey, you're done eating. You don't have to eat so much anymore. This is less than $1 a day. Maybe it's $1 a day. This is what this costs, but it's 30% off when you go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy. This is their secret sauce for significant weight loss. If you have 40, 60, 80, 100 pounds to lose and you want to control the speed with which you do it, this is your baby. This is your best friend. GLP-1 Gold from Juvenon. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. People say it helps them eat less. And when you're not constantly hungry, thinking about food, it's amazing you don't eat it. And bing, 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 fewer calories in, more weight off. It's just amazing how that works. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It is called their GLP-1 Gold. I'm getting all sorts of text messages.
Yeah, I just sent you another one.
Oh, God. Wow.
They changed the playbook.
It's happening in real time, Brock.
Coronavirus was never sexually transmitted.
No, but now hantavirus apparently
But
it is.
it can not just.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Well, no, you don't have to talk about it. 6 years in sperm.
I was going to say we'll talk about it on the show because it goes into the. Okay.
Really?
Hantavirus.
Where's that?
2 p.m.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, there's the teaser beezer.
See, this is why people throw money at me. They feel for me. Wendy and Brock, thank you. A Naz fan for the 50. Darius gifted 5 subscriptions to Wendy Bell Radio. Aren't you? Oh, my. All of the polling data that is popping all over. Well, this is interesting. While we were in the commercial break, Brock sent me a little thingy-dingy here. California early voting now versus at this point in 2022. You ready? At this point in 2022, 54% of the people who had voted already early, 54% were Democrat, 25% were Republican, 21% were independent. As of now, and by the way, 557,000 Californians had already early voted in the midterms this time in 2022. Now you've got 725,000 people who've early voted. The 54% of Democrats from 2022 is now 41%. They dropped 13%, but they are soaring Republicans. The 25% that voted early Republicans in 2022, it's now 37%. That's a plus 12, ladies and gentlemen. And you've got what looks like 170,000 more people already early voting in California. You think they're all hot and bothered to vote for Xavier Becerra, who wants to blame Trump? Trump. No, of course not. Well, I want to talk to you about this because our friend at Deepfake Quotes, who drops the anonymous memes, has a phenomenal one about our addiction to certainty. Basically, the idea that only a fool would be certain. And when Brock shared the video with me this morning, it made me think about yesterday when we had this audio of Manu Raju, the reporter from CNN, asking, what's his face, Hakeem Jeffries. You guys blew your wad of money in Virginia, right? You blew $100 million to redistrict. It's not going to happen now. You're a failure, essentially. This is what Hakeem Jeffries said. Sounds very certain about Democrats winning in November. Listen.
I mean, you ultimately lost this, and you take personal
Who
responsibility.
lost?
You lost in the
Who lost?
Supreme Court.
Did the voters lose?
Well, Democrats did, and you're lost.
Did the voters lose?
You take personal responsibility for investing so much time and resources, tens of millions of dollars, in ultimately fruitless effort.
We did the right thing, and this effort is not over. It's just getting started. And by the way, come back to me on November 4th when Democrats have taken back control of the House of Representatives. That's ultimately going to be, what matters. What do the American people, we are going to win the House of Representatives. I'm telling you that right now. I've been telling you that from the very beginning.
Very certain he sounds. Very certain. Of course, this is now we're hearing from the Washington Examiner, Governor Abigail Spanberger, Virginia, confirming that her Commonwealth will use its current congressional map drawn in 2021 rather than the Democratic drawn map from the April referendum because it was all garbage anyway. Here is now Anonymous with today's offering. Only a fool is certain.
All lies and jest, still the man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest.
That may be one of the most important observations ever written about human nature, because most people don't search for truth first. They search for confirmation that their fears are justified, confirmation that their side is right, confirmation that the world is exactly what they already believe it to be. And once emotion becomes attached to a belief, contradictory evidence starts to feel like a threat. That's why people can look at the same event, the same facts, the same reality, and come away believing completely different things. Not because everyone is evil, not because everyone is stupid, but because human beings naturally protect the stories that give them certainty. And today, algorithms, influencers, politics, and media all feed that instinct. The cycle only breaks when a person develops the humility to say, what if I'm wrong? Not weak, not blind, not submissive, aware. Aware that all of us are vulnerable to hearing what we want to hear. Because wisdom does not begin with certainty. It begins with questioning ourselves. My friends, we are all anonymous.
And that's very true. You know, one of the things that is complicated about certainty is that it silences other thoughts, other ideas, other possibilities, and sometimes just conversation. When you are so certain about something, there is no conversation to be had. There was a lot of that we've been through in the last several years. And in fact, I'm going to tee this up for you because it's coming up next. Did you see the exchange in a congressional hearing yesterday where Maryland Democrat Congressman Jamie Raskin had the opportunity to interview a 16-year-old high school boy who had made some headlines at his school? I believe his school was in Texas. Something happened at his school. Somebody showed up to hand out flyers about Islam and about Sharia law. And this boy raised the alarm, pulled the fire alarm on it. And Jamie Raskin, wow, embodies only a fool is certain. And how he handles this young man, it's very unbecoming. And you will hear it next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. The strategy to be combative in these hearings and interrupt rudely the people who are there to testify. It is a uniquely Democrat thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to cash in on when she produced all the Hunter Biden porn stuff from his laptop. And she came out aggressive as like an attack mom almost. It's not becoming. And let the Democrats use that strategy because it makes everybody uncomfortable. The constant in your face and interrupting and you know who tries to do it and fails? Mazie Hirono. She's one of those toxic Democrats who's not bright at all, but who's given her talking points. And her attack strategy is to interrupt so you can't answer. It's gross. I mean, it makes you uncomfortable. It's going to make you uncomfortable coming up. I'm going to say it made me uncomfortable. I didn't like it. Brock's like, you didn't like that story. I'm like, I don't like Jamie Raskin, right? He's like Hakeem Jeffries. When I see him, I have a palpable, visceral reaction. I'm like, ugh, I don't like that person. I'm certain of that, and I'm not a fool. All right, let's talk about the Dr. Simkovich, his Concussion Institute. A lot of people think that you got to go to your PCP. There's got to be some scan of your brain. There's got to be a CT, an MRI, something, an X-ray that will show a doctor how you feel. And clearly it's going to show that you've suffered a traumatic brain injury because you know that you were injured. Something happened in a car accident or a sporting event or something happened and it changed you forever, right? And you're like, I've hurt my head. I have a concussion. I need to get it fixed. Well, you can't see a concussion on x-ray or MR or CT. You need to go to somebody who knows the signs. And the signs aren't just you visibly, but it's also feeling inside of your mouth, feeling around the outside of your head, feeling that things are out of whack. What kinds of things? That's what Dr. Simkovich does at the Simkovich Concussion Institute. He knows what things should feel like. And when you've hit your head and things get rattled out of position, right? It's like the crystals in your ear. If you bend over a lot and the crystals in your ear get out of whack, you can feel like you have vertigo, which is a terrible feeling. Dizziness, everything's crazy. Dr. Simkovich can detect that. He can feel that. And he can move things that have been moved out of place inside your soft palate back into place and completely mitigate the symptoms that you are feeling. And he does it in less than a week. So if getting your answers and your brain fixed is something that's worth a couple days out of town and coming here to Pittsburgh, 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. He even does beautiful things for people who have chronic headaches, which was something that was really bad for me. 412-366-3700, Simkovich Concussion Institute.com. More money. $20. Darius, what are you doing for Shrish and Schmoppies? Hot dogs and drinks at the last game. Aw. And for Wendy's Tissues Fund. You're a sweetheart. Thanks, Darius. What do you mean, what?
I was the one that was talking about drinking during the game.
I see you, Diane. I love you too. Oh, so John Buffalari, by the way.
Uh-oh.
I butt dialed him. John, our good friend John here. John, is it Buff or Boof? I don't know. Buffalari. I'm sorry. So I butt dialed him at the soccer game the other night, and I had to get up and go to the porta potty.
Did he get to hear the whole?
No. So he called me back, or he answered, or whatever. And so Joe takes my phone, and he's like, "Who's this guy?" So John leaves a message. I think you butt dialed me. Have a great night. Whatever. Sweet. And Joe scrolls through, and I don't really erase text messages. I keep a lot of them. And so a thread with him from way back when is on my phone. And in there, I had called John Sweet Man. I'm like, oh, Sweet Man. And so now Sweet Man, that's what my boys. John now is the new joke at my house. And Mom's got a thing on the side with John, her Sweet Man.
Wow.
Just so you know.
You get around.
Who knew? I went to the porta
you said
potty.
You were easy.
All I had to do was go to the porta potty, and all of a sudden, people are going through my phone and making fun of me. And so now, John, you are my sweet man. Just so you know, that's clearly worth $1,000. I'm kidding. Anywho, that's my life.
Well, Sweet Man only gave $5.
I know. You'd think it. Yeah.
It's more like Sour Man.
Stop it. Healthy Cell. Healthycell.com, you guys. One of these things that I think that you should have at your house, if you have people who struggle falling asleep, if even you, just to have, is the REM sleep formula, REM sleep. And you know what REM is. It's that deep restful sleep that we all hope to get to, especially when we're like, oh my God, I've got a presentation tomorrow. I've got to get some sleep. And then the more you think about it, you're like, oh, and you watch the clock. Not when you take a REM sleep. It's a Healthy Cell microgel. You peel off the top, suck it in your mouth, swallow it. It tastes delicious, by the way. Brush your teeth, wash your face, put on your jammies, climb into bed, and see you later, alligator. It's lights out. It's lights out. It's a comfortable, deep sleep. If you have to get up, go to the bathroom, what have you, you go back, lie in bed, out like a light. It's just phenomenal. And it's so nice to have when you need it. Best part of all, healthycell.com/Wendy. You wake up and you don't feel like you've got the NyQuil hangover, right? You feel great. Healthycell.com/Wendy. REM sleep. Lifesaver. of the Wendy Bell radio program. Where did it go? I love being with you. So thank you for being a part of the show today. WendyBellRadio.com if you want to join the live video stream too. So Jamie Raskin, the Maryland man, it's so funny how a Texas teenager makes a Maryland man look stupid. Did you see the 16-year-old witness before Congress who Congressman Jamie Raskin attacked during a live hearing? You know, attacked might be, that's a little strong. I'm not going to say attack. You know, there's a way to talk to someone younger than you that's not condescending, that is fair, that is inquisitive. I'm interested when my children talk to me. I want to know what they think. I'm not interested necessarily in them thinking what I think. I want to know what they think. And so that involves a lot of listening. Jamie Raskin in this hearing yesterday, and I want to play it for you because it's conduct unbecoming. It's behavior that we should expect better than from our congressmen and women. And in this age of, you know, the Tennessee circus, where they turned the legislature into a mosh pit and stood on tables and burned Confederate flags and brought bullhorns and disrupted the decorum of basic lawmaking, right? Enough is enough. And the people who've been deeply entrenched in the Democrat Party have got to teach by leading. And Jamie Raskin is not a leader. I want to read you the nuts and bolts of this story before you hear it. So this is the headline from Gateway Pundit. Democrat Representative Jamie Raskin gets humiliated by 16-year-old kid while trying to smear him as a nut job during a heated debate on heritage and religion. I mean, it's a great headline. Let's tell you what happened. So Jamie Raskin from Maryland, he ended up pretty embarrassed by a high school student during a hearing yesterday while trying to lecture the kid on the nation's founding documents, religion, and heritage. So what was going on was a House Judiciary Subcommittee hearing on Constitution and limited government. They held this hearing Wednesday, actually, called Sharia Free America: Why Political Islam and Sharia Law Are Incompatible with the U.S. Constitution. And it's a part 2. They had a part 1. This is a part 2. And for Sharia law, for all of the women out there who are like, oh, I love Islam, I love Muslim, it's fabulous, they're wonderful people. Well, unless you're a woman. Unless you're a woman and you have to wear a hijab, unless you're a woman and your husband has to accompany you to everything that you do, you can't drive a car, you can't vote, you're not allowed to do anything, unless, God forbid, all of the fun things they do to the females, and we can't get into some of the descriptive things that happen. It's disgusting. Anybody who wants Sharia law or Islam here in America, well, sorry, I don't. As the Gateway Pundit has reported, the 16-year-old high school sophomore Marco Hunter Lopez blew the lid off the radical left's blatant double standard in Texas public schools. Conservative students get censored and harassed and stonewalled for months, while Islamic groups get the royal treatment to push understanding Sharia pamphlets and Qurans with conversion cards and hijabs right there in the lunchroom. And so this young man spoke up about it. So I guess they had some kind of a what? They had an assembly. They had an assembly, and some table got set up at this young man's high school where they were basically putting hijabs on young women in the school and try to normalize, sort of like polls are trying to normalize Xavier Becerra is paying anything that California would want as a governor, right? This table allowed to set up and basically inform the students about Sharia law and Islam. And it was called Why Islam? That's the group, Why Islam? And this young man, this Marco Hunter Lopez, was like, wait a minute, why are these people allowed on our campus? Well, Chip Roy, the congressman from Texas, caught wind of the situation and asked the young man, 16 years old, to come forward and testify before this subcommittee. What happened at your high school? How, as a conservative young man, are your views and your wishes being silenced, whereas these other voices that, quite frankly, are not compatible with American way of living, well, they're welcomed in? And I want you to hear some of the back and forth here because it's gross. Here's Jamie Raskin, who won't even let this young man finish his sentence. Listen.
The first original 13 colonies that required a declaration of faith. So I'm not acknowledging that.
Oh, well, wait a second. Now, you're traversing my territory now, Mr. Hunter Lopez. You brought it up. Are you aware that the Constitution of the United States does not establish a religion? It forbids the establishment of religion. Are you aware that it doesn't mention God?
So the Declaration of Independence mentions God 4 times. But what I was going to say...
Is the Declaration of Independence law?
So Declaration of Independence was declaring our independence from the tyranny of England.
Yeah.
But
the
what I was trying to
Constitution's
finish
the governing
is that
law.
I'm not, suggesting that we need to go back to taking, tests or saying that you have to acknowledge.
Wait, do you know
religion.
that
But
Thomas Jefferson was denounced as an infidel who wrote the Declaration of Independence because he didn't believe in the establishment of religion, and he and Madison were emphatic about separating church and state? That's the whole glory of our constitutional design in our history, that they rebelled against centuries of religious warfare between the Catholics and the Protestants and witchcraft trials, Inquisition, Holy Crusades. America proclaimed the separation of church and state, what Thomas Jefferson described in his famous letter to the Danbury Baptists as a wall of separation.
That was a letter, not a law.
Okay, so your position is that America is a theocracy?
You didn't let me finish my original statement, and I understand you have limited time, but what I was going to say is I'm not suggesting we need to go back to anything that's in writing, but what I am saying is we need to acknowledge...
Oh, I think we should go back to something in writing. I think we should go back to the First Amendment.
Oh, yes, the Constitution,
yes,
obviously, but what I'm saying is that, how I said original colonies were requiring declaration of faith to run for office. I'm not saying we have
That's why we have a First Amendment.
What I'm saying is that we do...
That's precisely why Jefferson wrote it.
We do need to acknowledge our Christian heritage in America. That's what I'm trying to...
You can acknowledge whatever heritage you want, but you can't impose an establishment of religion on other people. That's the greatness.
I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying we need to acknowledge our heritage. That's what I'm saying.
Well, everybody can acknowledge their own heritage. Do you agree with that?
American heritage, not just any heritage, is what I'm saying.
Oh, you don't think that you're allowed to acknowledge your Christian heritage or your Jewish heritage or your Muslim heritage?
I'm saying you members of Congress need to acknowledge American heritage.
Yes, indeed. And you know how we do that? By abiding by the Constitution of the United States, which is why that's exactly where I began.
How did that feel to you guys? Did that feel comfortable to you? Because the backstory here, it was Wiley East High School, Republican club president, describing what he said was a group handing out religious materials to students. Today, there was an organization called Why Islam at a huge table booth and right in our front of our school today. And they were giving out hijabs to girls throughout the high school. They were giving out Qurans. They had pamphlets about Sharia law and other Islamic things. And they were giving out these bags, he said. However, when other students wanted to talk about the Bible or about Judeo-Christian values, that is the separation of church and state, you're not allowed to do that here. They called out the double standard, and that's how Chip Roy got in touch with this guy. Now, Will Cain over on Fox yesterday had this young Marco Hunter Lopez on his program. And at first he's like, you know what? You managed yourself as a 16-year-old remarkably well, as this blowhard congressman kept interrupting you. And he asked him, he said, what was your thought process? This is very interesting. And it tells me a lot about the younger generation, which gives me hope.
Moment to describe exactly what it is you were saying when you weren't being interrupted by Congressman Raskin, that the American heritage of what should be acknowledged?
Correct. I was just trying to explain to him that he kept referring it to secular law, and he can refer to it as what he wants it, but I was trying to explain that America was founded on Christian values, on Judeo-Christian values, and our founding documents are listed from the Bible, is what I was trying to get across to him.
And I'm surprised to hear a congressman be so aggressive with a 16-year-old.
Are you at all surprised to hear anybody on the left behave in a manner that is unbecoming? No. We watch it. It's theatrics. It's this performative clickbait. It's look at me. It's I'm going to make a name for myself, or I'm going to fight back. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight anything, even if it's a 16-year-old who's like, look, we believe in what the founding fathers believed in, and it's really baked in God. And Jamie Raskin didn't want to hear that. In audio soundbite number 2, Marco tells Will Kane exactly what happened at his school in his own words, and you can decide what you think.
So on February 2nd of this year, an organization, Why Islam, was on my campus distributing pamphlets on Sharia law, Qurans, and even putting hijabs on teen girls in my school. And I reported that, and come to find out, the organization was actually connected to multiple terrorist organizations, as dubbed by the governor of Texas. And so that was very concerning. Congressman Roy reached out and asked if I could testify, and that's how it came about.
I love it. It came about so I could step forward and I can basically expose, hey, this is what's going on in our schools. This is what's even happening in Texas. And you would consider Texas to be extraordinarily Republican. But this is where things got super interesting and super telling, because Will Kane pulls up a poll. It's a survey about basically religion and young men and young women. And he asks Marco Hunter Lopez about this. Listen.
He challenged me. He called me out. He said, Mr. Hunter Lopez. So I took the fight, and he was obviously scared that I was going to prove him wrong. So all he could do was interrupt me.
Your mom said, promise me you won't go viral.
Correct. And I said, I can't make any promises.
Yeah, well, you failed that. You failed your mother, Hunter.
I did.
Good job.
I'm sorry, Mom.
You're also unique, not just in your ability to speak publicly, but young men are a little bit more like you these days. They're showing that they are not only more conservative, but they are more religious. You see this poll. It's unfortunately gone a little bit the opposite way for women over time, but 18 to 29-year-old men it's gone up almost, what is that, 14 points in 3 years on men more religious. Now you see there women gone down 3 points. What's going on?
I don't know. I think we just gotta, people of faith and prayer warriors need to continue praying, because obviously the men have a strong part in the household as the head of the household, but the women are the other nurturers, and the women are there to have the household stand strong as well. So we need to continue to pray that women will find Christ too.
Yeah.
Brock, isn't that kind of what Harrison wasn't that his name? Is it Harrison Buckner?
Yes.
Isn't that kind of what he said?
Sort of. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's what he said.
He said, hey, all you young ladies here at this school who are graduating, who cannot wait for their next chapter, be it marriage and children and heading a household. And people went bananas. You know, you can be a mom and you can have a job. But if we want to demean the job that mom is in this country, no wonder there's a disparity between the feelings of religion among young men and young women. 42% of young men consider themselves religious compared to 29% of women. That's by design. The young men are not buying the suck that the left is selling for some reason. It's exciting. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, no wonder California's broke. Did you hear that California, killers on California's death row, all got new iPads? I wonder what they're looking at with them next. It's so gross. It's so gross. Maybe they found all the ones that Chicago Public Schools lost, Brock.
Probably.
Because they lost like $80 million worth of iPads during COVID. I don't know where they went.
No, that couldn't be it, because why would they wouldn't give prisoners secondhand stuff.
Well,
It's only new stuff for them.
What?
Good stuff for them.
What?
Health, you pay for health care, but the illegals get free. Why would I second rate?
The interrupting, I find, if you can't as a grown up, give a child the opportunity to say what he or she has been called before you to discuss, you're just an asshole.
Well, see, to me, it was completely different.
Oh,
right. Because if you listen to the kid, what the kid said, and then Raskin realized he got him. The kid got him right away because he said the
Judeo-Christian values. This is what it's based on.
The kid said that it was the founding documents, and then he said Constitution.
Yes,
and that's where the kid was like stopped a little bit. And Raskin went off and said, but that's not in there. He's like, it's in 4 times. Well, right. It's in the Declaration of Independence 4 times, but not See, Raskin played word games with him with a 16-year-old.
And he didn't win.
And like, here's my thing. Like, you want to try that shit with me? Go ahead. With a 16-year-old, I agree. You let them talk and be like, okay, well, you're talking about this, and you explain it differently. I would love to be in that seat in front of Jamie Raskin. Love it.
How do you like
love
this, Brock?
that,
No,
too.
stay here. Stay on.
I do love that.
How have you liked it? Honestly, I've never really talked to you about it.
It's empty. I drink it every day.
Do you find that it helps you not get hungry? I find that it helps me for about 4 to 5 hours not be hungry.
To be honest with you, I usually don't eat until about 4:30 now, 5 o'clock, which is perfect.
How many times a day do you eat? Twice?
Depends. Did you bring me breakfast? Today you did, so twice.
MCT Wellness from
I
Dr.
like it.
Gundry.
And I'm big on drinks.
So thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. That's a landing page to get this. This is a dietary supplement. It's a scoop that you put in water. I mean, and this is what I'm thinking. We're already drinking water, right? We're like, we got to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Or do we? I don't think so. But you're already drinking it. Why would you not put something that's good for you in it that supports the production of ketones for more energy and polyphenols for brain health? Like, I'm all about that. And fun fact, Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds drinking this. 70. So you pour a scoop in your water bottle, shake it up, drink it down. It's delicious. I've got the watermelon lemonade, but they've got a blueberry one. They've got a raspberry medley or something like that. They're all delicious. And you'll notice that it just quiets your cravings and it just squashes your appetite for a couple hours. And it tastes delicious. So you get like a little kick, a little sour, sweet kick. And you're not hungry for several hours. That's how Dr. Gundry says he lost 70 pounds. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. The way I see it, like, why wouldn't you just add it to your water? If it's going to help you, I would.
And let me say this too. I'm very disappointed in you people.
Yeah, our
1.88.
rumbles are terrible.
Why did we even get
We're
up
going to
this
fall
morning?
off the leaderboard.
I feel like I got up for no reason.
Oh, you have one job, one request, and that's that you hit that thumbs up button underneath the video box. That's it. Much, right? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I mean, no wonder if you look at it, no wonder California is broke. Did you hear this? Killers on California's death row now get to watch porn. I mean, why not? The Golden State has bought iPads for people in prison, right? It's like such a shocker, and you'll never guess what they're using them for. Let's get the real story. Under Gavin Newsom, California has spent hundreds of millions of dollars to give electronic devices to prisoners. And of course, one could only ponder, what are they using it for? Yeah, they're using it to watch porn. Of course they're using them for porn. Stevie Wonder could have seen this coming. This is just another reminder that the taxpayers of California are among the most used and abused people in the country. It's 100%. But thank God Xavier Becerra is leading the pack for governor. Right. They pay through the nose, and this is what they get. Not better schools, not safer streets. They get condemned prisoners on California's death row, filling their time watching porn, engaging in lewd conversations, using taxpayer-funded tablets as the state continues its shift toward a Norwegian-inspired approach to rehabilitating criminals, according to reports, right? In an effort to connect its prison population to the outside world. Why? Why? You're in freaking prison, right? Why do you need to be connected to anybody? Here's what you need to be connected to. Your jail cell. The bars. How about that? I see connection right there. Well, that's not very nice. Well, maybe you shouldn't have killed people. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. In an effort to connect its prison population to the outside world, California issued around 90,000 tablets to inmates as part of a multi-million-dollar program where incarcerated people could send and receive messages in real time to loved ones amid a push for digital equity. Do you know what equity is when you kill somebody? There is none because you killed somebody. How about that? You can suck it. Well, not in California. Prisoners are people too. Chris Rufo, who's an investigator, well, he's got a couple sound bites here. He's like, look, on California's governor spending hundreds of millions of dollars on tablets so they can all watch porn. He's got a few words about that.
Gavin Newsom, despite warnings from prison officials, agreed to a $189 million contract to provide these tablets for all inmates. And we interviewed a dozen death row inmates, rapists, murderers, child molesters, all of the most kind of horrific crimes imaginable. And they told us very straightforwardly, prisoners are using them to watch pornography, to have X-rated video chats with people on the outside. And in at least one case, a prisoner was using it to groom and abuse a minor girl on the outside. Thankfully, he's now facing trial. But the big question is this. Why on earth is Gavin Newsom providing personal pornography devices to every inmate in the state of California?
I don't even, does anybody have an answer to that? I like literally, I really cannot get into the mindset of that. Is there a mindset to that?
And is porn really the real world?
I mean, honestly, that's exactly what happens in my life. I mean, like, what? Right? My kids are like, Mom, that's so gross. I know, honey. Don't worry about it. And Chris Rufo says this, beyond the tablet, beyond the internet connection, beyond they're able now to access anybody out there they want. The dudes who have nothing but what again? Oh, that's right. Time on their hands and other thing in their hands. There are no guide rails to ensure that pedophile inmates aren't chatting with children. What could go wrong?
And of course, the state claims that these are secure devices, that they monitor the content. But a former high-ranking prison official told us that there's no way for the state of California to monitor 90,000 of these iPads for all of these prisoners and to do so in any rigorous way. And more than one inmate told us the restrictions are easy to evade. They can get pornography sent to them through a number of different means. And someone like Robert Morey, the tipster killer, seemed to have no problem at all soliciting photographs from this German psychology student. And when we logged in to talk to these killers on California's death row, there appeared to be no age verification at all. So someone who had abused kids in the past could actually be chatting with those same kids through these Gavin Newsom-funded iPads.
Democrat priorities in action for you, ladies and gentlemen. You've got lavish perks for criminals while law-abiding citizens deal with skyrocketing crime and taxes. It's the same priorities in action at that Texas school where Marco Hunter Lopez went, right? Roll out the red carpet for the Muslim people and their Sharia law, festival, whatever. But if you want to bring out the Bible, you want to talk about Judeo-Christian values, you want to talk about the founding fathers, outrageous separation of church and state. But Democrats are totally going to take back the House. Got it. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program. The hantavirus is real, guys, and it can kill you. But this pandemic theater 2.0 is certainly not worth you catching, okay? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. JD Rucker again, knocking it out of the park. I've got to go to the bathroom, okay?
I mean, what could go wrong with giving iPads to prisoners? Why not give them a shovel and have them go dig a ditch? I mean, I'd be all for that. Give them a shovel. You want to work them back into society? There you go. Get them a job. Like the rest of us who don't get free iPads. We get jobs. That I had sent that Jamie Raskin clip to Wendy this morning because how disrespectful from a man who had a child. Like, how would you feel if someone treated your kid that way? It wasn't even my kid. I don't even know him, and I was pissed. And this guy, this just goes to show the mentality of a Democrat. They don't care. Nobody's off limits for their radical bullshit. Nobody. Not a 16-year-old, not a 3-year-old who says he's a boy but really a girl. Nobody's off limits to Democrats in the way they treat them. It's just, I was talking about that Hunter 16-year-old kid. And Jimmy Raskin's a parent. He should know better. He's a human being. He should know better, but he's a parent.
So I was sitting down in the kitchen and where I sit with the foot massager. There's a big window to the left of me, and we're totally under construction. And so it's this total mess. It's all been trenched, and there's crap everywhere, and there's like mud on the windows. I mean, it's a total crap show. And a deer just kind of walks right by me. And I was like, oh, hey, deer.
He's like, Biatch, what'd you spray on those hostas?
And I'm like, you stay the F away from my hostas. I had taken the deer spray. This is at disinfectwithsniper.com, which Brock says we need to rename. Hey, stay the F away from my hostas. And it's great because it comes like this. It's one of these products from disinfectwithsniper.com. And you literally just take it and I just spray it all around my hosta. And I watched the deer. He walked over to it and was like, and he went the other way. And I was like, yes, I love it. It's one of the many fantastic products at disinfectwithsniper.com. Okay. So everything that's on there, there's such great deals. And the customer service our friend offers is ridiculous. So there's all this new organic food for flowering plants and trees, fruit, vegetables, all this stuff from Coast of Maine. That's the brand. This is their organic stuff that he's putting out. And it's expensive stuff, but he makes it affordable by bundling things and giving you stupid discounts, which is like, thank you. So I spread that in my yard. I use their dead weed brew. That's what kills the ivy and like strawberry and mint and stuff that's invasive that you don't want. You spray it and it knocks that out, but it doesn't kill everything else. I don't know how it does that. It's fantastic. And then, of course, Sniper, Harmony, all of this stuff that's wonderful for you and your family to stay healthy and clean. Disinfectwithsniper.com, disinfectwithsniper.com. Also, they have the 250th birthday flags for you there. It's a lot of great content at disinfectwithsniper.com. Let's see. Did we even hit 2,000 yet? I mean, it's so pathetic. No. Oh, yeah, we just did. Like at this point, are we going to hit Are we going to have 500 people hit the Rumble button? Literally, we will fall off the top 10. That's what'll happen, which is a bummer. But I mean, I can't force it. I beg and I plead and I say, please make it a habit to just click that for us because it's how we get on the board. This is going to be a fun segment. I like 2:30 best because the DNC is sucking some wind. And it's a beautiful, beautiful.
Sucking something.
It's a beautiful thing.
I don't know if it's wind.
Well, touche. Let's see. Oh my gosh, ghost bed.
Ugh.
Ghost bed. All right, so are you looking at them? Did you find one?
Do I have a tab up? Yes.
So what did you see? So look, it's been 10 years since you had a new mattress, maybe even
14.
longer. I'm not even talking about you, but anybody out there. Have you tried to lift your mattress recently? Because they get super heavy over time. You want to know why? Skin cells. Yeah. They make your freaking mattress 1,000 pounds. Try to lift yours and you'll be like, if it's time for a new mattress, can I please kindly suggest you visit this site, ghostbed.com/Wendy. I believe it's totally innovative mattress making because it's not just about selling you something that you sleep on. It's a completely engineered health system because the guy who invented the mattresses, who made them, is a guy who knows about back and neck pain. When you lie down on your ghost bed, you're out. I have the hybrid, which has a small little pillow top on top. Just gone. You sleep beautifully. You sleep not hot. You don't have hot spots. You don't wake up and you're like, ouch. It's a beautiful experience. And you get 101 nights to try it to see if you love it. And if you don't, they'll take it back. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. Also for campers, also for RVs. They make dog beds. They have linens. They have pillows. They've got all sorts of stuff. But it's the mattress and the way it gets delivered to your house and the ease with which it opens up and settles. That's perfect. Which one do you see?
The adjustable base combo bundle queen, $2,500.
And you paid over $4,000.
Way to really just
14 years
me,
ago.
You know, like here's another kick in the balls for you. You overpaid for yours.
And now yours probably has mold in it, but that's good. Too soon?
I hate everything about you.
You do
Rumble,
not.
damn it.
You-
I do.
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. Oh no. This just in. New York Post headline, contagious hantavirus strain may stay in human sperm for 6 years and turn into a sexually transmitted infection. Oh no, Brock. This is it. We were worried about this. I'm telling you. Like, I don't want to make fun of anything that is deadly. And the hantavirus is most assuredly, if you can believe anybody, deadly. But I mean, come on. It was just a matter of time, right?
This might keep liberals from procreating, though. So that is a bonus.
Well, then there's that. So it's interesting to just pay attention sometimes to how these stories are put out there. And I think it's kind of how we started paying attention to the alien story, right? You start paying attention to these missing scientists, and then there's a researcher who is dead, or some guy in his Tesla that drives off the road and he burns in his what? And so we started paying attention to all of this and seeing how the pieces of the puzzle are put together. Because you guys woke up during COVID like I did. I don't want to get duped. I'm not easily fooled anymore. I'm sure I'm still able to be fooled, but it's not easy. J.D. Rucker wrote a fantastic article on his Substack, jdrucker.substack.com. And he runs Liberty Daily. He's just a phenomenal mind and a great journalist who reminds us where we've been and then to pick up the pieces of where they want us to go back. And he writes this article, which I think is very informative. If you've wanted to know what hantavirus is and what they're trying to use it to accomplish as we look at 30,000 feet down, this is it. And he titles his piece, Pandemic Panic Theater 2.0 strikes as dozens of Americans are being monitored for hantavirus. And this is what he says. If you felt a familiar tickle in the back of your brain this week, That vague sense that someone somewhere was once again being told to be afraid of an acronym. Well, your instincts were not deceiving you, because the Centers for Disease Control announced Thursday that now 41 people in the United States are being monitored for possible exposure to hantavirus, an illness that, until this month, most Americans had encountered only in a footnote about deer mice in a national park gift shop. The number of confirmed cases in the United States is 0. The number of people that the CDC says are at any meaningful risk in the general public is, by their own admission, also essentially 0. And yet, here we are, watching the machinery of dread crank back to life like an old generator somebody forgot to mothball after 2020. I love how he writes. So call it Pandemic Panic Theater 2.0. First run was a global blockbuster. The sequel is being workshopped in real time, and the producers are clearly hoping you forgot how the last one ended. So let's talk about what the numbers actually say. What do we know about this? Hantavirus is real. It is. It can kill you. Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome carries a fatality rate that ranges anywhere from 20 to 50%, depending on the strain and the region. No serious person would tell a sick patient on a ventilator that their illness is a hoax. But sober reporting requires distinguishing between a disease that is dangerous to those who contract it and a disease that poses a threat to the broader public. And on that distinction, the gap here is enormous. The United States has logged fewer than 1,000 total hantavirus cases in the more than 3 decades since the virus was first identified in 1993. Who do you think found it? Fauci? I don't know. It sounds possible. I don't know. By contrast, ordinary influenza routinely hospitalizes hundreds of thousands of Americans every single year and kills tens of thousands, except during COVID when it just went away magically, which was super wild. I don't know. Maybe it went back to the wet market where it came from. If raw threat to public health were really the metric driving the alarm cycle, the cable news chyron writers would be having very different conversations. This current scare originates with the cruise ship MV Hondias, where 11 passengers were sickened and 3 died of an Andes virus outbreak. Andes virus is indigenous to South America, carried mainly by the long-tailed pygmy rice rat. It's a rodent that does not exist on this continent. It's also the only known strain of hantavirus capable of person-to-person transmission. And even that transmission has been documented in only a handful of outbreaks, almost exclusively in Argentina and Chile, and only among close family members of sustained intimate contacts. The European Center for Disease Prevention and Control put the matter pretty plainly. The Andes strain, they noted, does not spread like SARS-CoV-2. Human-to-human transmission is rare and requires prolonged close contact, often in enclosed settings. Translation for those who survived the last go-round: this isn't the kind of virus that hops across a grocery store aisle because somebody exhaled near the cantaloupe, okay? Special. So what gives the game away is not the disease itself, but it's the institutional choreography surrounding it. Such a good point. 41 people, none of them confirmed cases, are being told to stay home and avoid contact with others for 42 days. The CDC has activated its Emergency Operations Center. Dun, dun, dun. Passengers have been repatriated to biocontainment units in Nebraska and Atlanta. Press briefings are scheduled. Reporters are dutifully asking whether testing capacity is sufficient. Network anchors are practicing the word hantavirus with the gravitas usually reserved for hurricane landfalls. It's the same playbook, though. Activate the agencies. Deploy the language of vigilance. Float the magic numbers and watch the public obediently lean toward the television. And right on cue, the political subplot has already started. Buried inside Thursday's coverage was a line that should make every honest observer roll their eyes. According to CNBC, some public health experts have said the U.S. response to the spread of hantavirus, slowed by staffing cuts at the CDC and the Trump administration's decision to leave the WHO, has exposed cracks in its readiness to handle another health crisis. Well, there it is. The disease has not even arrived. There are 0 domestic cases. And already the same institutions that spent 2020 through 2023 lying about masks and lab leaks and vaccine efficacy and natural immunity are pointing to the story to be a referendum on the Trump administration's refusal to keep funding a World Health Organization that helped cover up the origins of the last pandemic. The virus, in other words, is a rhetorical opportunity before it is anything else. And then he talks about this, which is interesting. The deeper problem is not hantavirus. The deeper problem is the assumption, increasingly baked into the architecture of American public life, that the appropriate default response to any disease anywhere on earth is institutional mobilization, behavioral restriction, and media saturation. Well, this is the lesson the public health bureaucracy took from COVID, and it is precisely the wrong lesson. The right lesson would have been humility. The right lesson would have been to acknowledge that locking down a nation of 330 million people on the basis of models that turned out to be wildly wrong was a civilizational error. That closing churches while keeping liquor stores open revealed a deformed moral compass. That telling small business owners that they were non-essential while billion-dollar corporations stayed open was a betrayal of the equal protection of the laws. The right lesson would have been to recover the older American conviction that free people can be told the truth about a risk and be trusted to make their own decisions. Instead, the muscle memory of the bureaucracy is to reach again for the levers. 41 people being monitored is not a public health crisis. It is a press release. The question is whether a public still reeling from the last performance will accept the next ticket. Right? This is why masking, I think, was so important during COVID. It was a visual display to whomever the puppeteers of doom were, how many people were still in compliance. Now, this is an interesting side note for you. For all you rabbit holers out there, I found a gentleman, he sounds like he's Australian, who discovers a COVID crisis actor is being used again now to spread worry about the hantavirus. So you're going to hear a clip. The first one is from COVID. The second one, same guy, but now he's talking about how scared he is of hantavirus. Do you believe him?
Now, I've heard of recycling bottles and cans, but I've never heard of recycling COVID crisis actors for hantavirus. Check this out.
Gorgeous, gorgeous girls get vaccinated. Gorgeous vaccinated girls get boosted. And gorgeous boosted girls get boosted again if you're eligible.
I normally wouldn't make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us.
Things that make you go, right? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Well, it's sneaky and it's successful, and it may be the Democrat Party's Hail Mary. Why are so many Democrats all of a sudden becoming independents? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. And, you know, it's funny because JD's takeaway, I love him. And he says, watch the story, not the performance. Don't fall for the theatrics, right? Don't fall for, I would not get my news anywhere from the news, ever. Certainly not about a virus. These are the people who are like, we love you, Dr. Fauci. I'm going to go light my candle. Ooh. You're like, you're a loser. You're a loser and you got completely scammed. Completely scammed. And I hope all the boosters work out for you. Did it just blast on freezing in there now? No. Good talk. Ireland Contracting. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. IrelandContracting.com. Okay, let me see. Maybe I can share it. I'll show you. So Ireland Contracting put on a beautiful new roof for my family. They gave us 8 new skylights. They cleaned everything up. They were in and out with bad weather in 3.5 days. Boom. Easy. This is what we're doing. This is what we did. Thank you. Enough said. If you need a new roof, if you need soffit, fascia, gutters, downspouts, you want to put in a skylight, IrelandContracting.com. You want a new front door? You want some bay windows? You want to do whole house new windows? IrelandContracting.com. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Phenomenal. All right, I'm going to show you. All right, if we can. So this is what the backyard patio is starting to look like. And if it focuses, if you see straight through this blob, that's where the grill is now. Hold on. It's really beautiful. Shell house construction. Isn't that pretty? It's gonna, you see, it's sort of taking shape. Kinda. That's it. That's gonna be a new outdoor space for my family that's all graduating and moving away from me. There you go. Look at that. That's where the deer walked to the left. He's like, "Dor, dor, dor." I like it. I think it's gonna be really something. So that's what I'm dealing with. It's going to be fun. And that's our porta potty. Isn't that neat? There you go.
Did you guys, I wanted to show you
Rumble?
something
No.
I saw. Did you guys see Elon Musk getting selfies?
I saw people at his table. People were stopping by and taking pictures
well,
of
I
him.
found out what they were looking at on someone behind him took a photo.
Oh. Look at how well you had to do it. Look at how well you had to fudge that. That was really good. That was really
What do
good.
you mean fudged? I took that off the intranet.
Did you? The
Yeah.
intranet?
Yeah.
Is that right? The intranet.
I don't give out fake news.
All right, if we don't hit 2.5. All right, we literally need 320 people.
Giant TV, by the way, is not up yet. Someone stole it.
You never know. Somebody streaking through the backyard with the deer. Porta potties remind me of Woodstock 99. They didn't clean any of them. It was horrible. Or if you come here, what was the concert? Kenny Chesney.
Oh,
Literally,
yeah.
the porta potties were overflowing and urine was coming out. It was so disgusting. Like, how do you even go in there? Like, pick up your... I never understood people who go into a public bathroom and have their pants around their ankles on the ground. I was like, it's so grody. Come on.
Wait, this show's really gone to the crapper.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I want to read this last thing that JD Rucker put about this hantavirus, because we have to watch and pay attention to the story and not the performance surrounding it. It's kind of how we have to deal with the UFO files, right? Pay attention to not the performance, the theatrics around it, but the actual details. So JD Rucker wraps up this hantavirus pandemic porn theater thing by saying, look, the honest summary is short. A dangerous but poorly transmissible virus killed 3 people on a boat. Some American passengers were on that boat. Public health officials are watching them. The risk to the general public is, in the CDC's own word, low. That's the whole story. That's it. Everything else, the briefings, the chyrons, the experts already drafting indictments of the administration, the studio segments practicing the syllables of the new acronym. It's all theater. The question for the audience is whether the second show gets the reception the first one no longer deserves. The first run of pandemic panic theater cost the country its schools, its small businesses, its houses of worship, and a measurable share of its public trust. The sequel deserves an empty house. 100%. And thank you, JD, for being fantastic. I'm just going to say it. All right. So New York Post caught my attention this morning, put up a headline about the Democrats' sneaky, independent, in name only midterm gambit. You ready? The writer here, a guy named Dan Osborne. Let's see. No, excuse me. Jesse Ramos is writing. And he writes, in my home state of Montana, former University of Montana president Seth Bodnar is running for the U.S. Senate as an independent. In Nebraska, the Democrat who won the party's primary for U.S. Senate this week plans to drop out of the general election race and throw her support to independent Dan Osborne. This rapidly developing trend in Republican-heavy states is not about independence at all. It's about big government policies being deliberately repackaged for voters who've grown skeptical of the liberal brand. Literally, this is where running on empty today came as the headline, as the title. The left is using party labels to mask what should be a genuine debate about policy direction. In American politics, the core divide still revolves around the size, scope, and the role of government. Conservatives generally argue for decentralization, lower taxes, lighter regulation, domestic energy production, and more independent decision-making for us and our families. Liberals generally place greater trust in federal programs, centralized regulation, subsidies, mandates, and national administrative solutions to social and economic problems. Those governing philosophies have not disappeared, but increasingly, the labels surrounding them are being manipulated. In 2024, Nebraska offered an early example of the strategy. Leftists there knew that their party label had become a liability in the conservative state. So when Republican Senator Deb Fischer came up for re-election, Democrats and aligned organizations effectively cleared the field for Dan Osborne, a labor organizer and U.S. Navy veteran, to run as an independent candidate. Osborne didn't call himself a Democrat, but he still backed the same liberal policies and benefited from the same left-wing organizations and infrastructure that a Democrat Party candidate would have used. He lost by 7 points, but he outperformed expectations, and now he's running again, this time against GOP Senator Pete Ricketts. And as Nebraska Democrats reprise the model, the strategy of deception is expanding to other conservative states. This is what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. It's all by design. All right? This is one of those things that, as Nebraska Democrats reprise the model, the strategy of deception is expanding. In Montana, independent Bodnar is being backed by the same political machine that voters rejected in 2024 when they ousted Democrat Senator John Tester. Tester himself is supporting Bodnar, and Barack Obama campaign manager Jim Messina is volunteering for Bodnar, the new independence campaign. And what's worse, Bodnar is using Act Blue, the fundraising platform that powers liberal candidates nationwide. And it's helped him already raise $1.4 million in the first quarter alone, more than the total raised by every declared Democrat in the race combined. That is the story, right? So if you know that your brand is toxic, you know that people are viscerally reacting to what you're doing, which is all about resisting and blaming Trump. It's all about supporting crazy things that typical, average, moderate Democrats don't support. We'll just change our name. We'll just change our packaging. We'll be the same crap candy inside, but we'll have a flashy new shell. Beware of the independents in your communities, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, yes, good news, but also sounds like trouble for the Party of Joy, the DNC chairman. Is he spending their money well? Next. Independent.
So,
Really?
Cousin Allison showed up. She's not 49, and you said she was 49.
She's probably 46 or 47.
She's 47.
She's 47. Yeah, she's 9 years younger.
You just aged her.
Sorry, cuz I was trying to do the math because it's me, and then 2 would be 54, and then 2 is 52, and then 50. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. There are, yeah. And it doesn't matter. I don't need to tell you. Hey, Morgain's Fitness, Morgainz Fitness. Let's see if I have a picture I can show you. How about of before and afters? Okay. Let's see what we got. Well, there's this one. That's a pretty big before and after. That's ridiculous. Right? How are these dudes? Before is on the bottom, I think. Look at those guys. Lost a lot of weight. I love her. She's my fave. So cute. Look at that. 90 days. Look at her legs. You could do that to yourself in 90 days. Look at her. She's all sassy. She's ready to walk around in her freaking bikini. Damn right she is. How about this? Look at that. That's bonkers. Look at the difference here.
Where's the lady with the butt?
Oh, you like the butt girl. All right, hold on. No, she does have a cute little backyard. Oh, this is crazy. Look at this. That's crazy.
How you doing?
90 days. If I said to you, I'm going to tell you what you need to eat, what you can't eat, I'm going to teach you how to exercise, and I'm going to show you how to do it every single day. And you're going to do it for 90 days. You're going to do it for 3 months. No excuses. You're in it to win it. And you're going to transform your body, and you're going to be like, Shazam, I feel proud of myself. There's nothing worse than feeling like you look like a turd. And we've all been there. And it's gross, and I don't like it any more than you do. But every day that you wake up on Kelly Morgan's 90 Ignite program and you do the job is every day closer to that final goal of stepping on the scale or having the tape measure go around your hips. And you can be like, how you doing? There's room for you. You can do it at home. You don't have to join the gym. You just have to go to Morgain's Fitness, MORGAINZ fitness.com. By the way, ghostbed.com/Wendy. Biggest sale of the season. Memorial Day blockbuster out of the wazoo, great deals, right? And an extra 10% off with my name. Don't forget throwing in my name. You get the 10%. I think we got them all now, Brock. Did I? I think so. So we have a possible new sponsor alert. It's very exciting. I'll tell you more details as we get closer. So next Thursday is our hair appointment, right?
Yes.
I think I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it get bigger and bushier.
And then so you can bitch about it all summer, how hot it is. Okay.
Joe said to me last night, he's like, it's driving you crazy, isn't it? I'm like, it's just, it gets haywire for a while. Anybody who's grown their hair out knows it doesn't pay attention for a while. And it's just like, ah! And I was like, oh, it's driving me nutty. He's like, you can cut it. He was giving me permission. I'm like, thanks, honey.
Permission.
You can cut it. I'm like, oh.
Right? You'd think after all these years, he'd know that he really doesn't have a say. Like every man out there knows. You know, like really, like I can do and say what I want, but like realistically, what hits home and what doesn't. Like it'd be stupid for me to go, Kate, you should really cut your hair. If Kate doesn't want to cut her hair, doesn't matter what I say.
See, no, I care what he thinks. I care because I did have a lesbian hairstyle for a while. Not offense,
Well,
no offense to any
that's
lesbian.
when you put your foot down. See, the more you say stupid stuff, when there's important things like get rid of the lesbo cut, doesn't stick the landing. Like you'd be like, listen.
No offense to any lesbos out there.
Yeah, listen,
I love
honey,
lesbos.
I'm not gay. Yes, I'm a man trapped in a lesbian's body, but the hairdo just ain't doing it for me.
Oh, that's
But you
funny.
also had 5 kids under the age of what, 10?
Yeah.
I've
was
seen
bad.
the haircut.
Yep. All right, let's see how the rumbles are. 227. 230 people I'm going to look at you for 30 seconds.
Well, this won't be uncomfortable at all. For just 30 cents a day, you can help a starving talk show host. For just one rumble a day, we could have some Sarah McLachlan music.
I know. Why didn't you prepare? I was trying to make myself cry, but I'm not good at that. It was starting, you see? Yeah, it was starting. That's a to tell you that the Democratic Party is sucking some serious wind. But if you hear nothing else today, and welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program, I want it to be this. The Democratic Party reports, well, in March they did, $22.1 million cash on hand. $22 million. The DNC, the Democratic National Committee, that's what they have in their big coffers. And that money is going to go out and help all of these various people win their races, right? $22 million. Now, here's the problem. They also have $18.4 million in debt. So my rudimentary math skills tell me it's about $4 million. They're sitting on $4 million right now. I mean, if we pay our debt off at all, right? Meanwhile, the RNC in March reported $116.8 million in the bank with zero debt. Right? So I'm trying to look at the dollars and cents of this as Hakeem Jeffries has been so adamant. I told you, Democrats are going to retake control of the House in November. We're like, not really sure I see that, because everywhere we look, Democrats are making all of the wrong decisions for all of the wrong people, right? Whether it's to promote Sharia law or the ability of murderers and gangbangers and pedophiles to have access to unlimited porn through free iPads, or it's a $400 million housing grift in California that hasn't housed anybody. It's just squandered a lot of money. I don't really see why anybody goes there. Why would you want to vote for a Democrat? Why? Because they're the party of what? Nothing that I care about anymore. Most assuredly not. I want to read you this from AP News, because if the AP is sounding the alarm about the DNC chairman, Ken Martin, you know it's bad. Inside the Fuhrer, plaguing Democratic National Committee leader Ken Martin. It's bad, but he's employing some similar strategies that are not working anymore, like Karen Bass. Democrats keep winning at the ballot box, and yet Ken Martin, the man leading the Democratic National Committee, is facing a crisis of confidence among party officials who are increasingly concerned about the health of their political machine. Barely a year into his term, major donors, the AP tells us, are not giving. Liberal influencers are publicly questioning Martin's refusal to release an internal report on the party's failures. That's kind of like Karen Bass not releasing the after-action report years after the Palisades fires killed 12 people and wiped out 6,000 homes. She's still not releasing it. Word on the street is they're trying to water down the language, carve out some of the culpability and some of the abject incompetence that has been exposed by that fire. Ken Martin doesn't want you to know why Kamala was such a big egg, a rotten egg in 2024. Right? Democratic operatives have begun informal discussions about recruiting a new chair, even as most believe that Martin's job isn't in serious jeopardy ahead of the midterm elections. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? How are they going to fix this? Amanda Littman, who leads the Democrat allied organization Run for Something, says she's been, like from Democrats, said she's been approached by senior strategists in recent days, gauging her interest in replacing Martin. She declined. It's not for me. But said the many in the party have lost faith in the DNC leader. I think it's a hard job, she said. Well, no duh. It's hard to put lipstick on a pig every night and then sell it as filet mignon because everybody knows what it is. They know what pork tastes like. It doesn't taste like red meat. Part of the challenge for those Democrats frustrated with Martin, she said, is that there's really not an alternative. Can you imagine if that was what you were running on? There's nobody else. It's just me. Vote for me, right? That's what they have. That's what they have with Karen Bass. They're so used to it. Well, she's a Democrat. Everybody's just going to vote for her in California, right? Well, Becerra, he's a zero. He lost 500,000 immigrant kids. Well, whatever. He's a Democrat. Let's vote for him. It's not working that way anymore. Handwriting comes in spite of the Democratic Party's undeniable success in vast majority of elections under Martin's leadership. Okay. But less than 6 months before the 2026 midterm elections, the concern over his leadership is at best an unwanted distraction for a party desperate to break the Republican Party's grip on power in Washington. And at worst, the conflict is going to make it harder for Democrats to win in November. Why would anybody give money? What are you giving money to? Who do you have even for 2028? Who are you dusting off? Who's the shiny metal object? Who's the new greatest thing? Is there a transgender person who walks with a limp who's black and gay that we could put in there and like check all the boxes all at once? No, I don't know who that person is. And you got major problems with the money. Major problems. So this is the gamble that the DNC chief is running with. He's leaning into a 50-state spending strategy that his supporters privately acknowledge is risky. The DNC each month is distributing $1 million among party organizations in every state and key U.S. territories, besides allocating $5,000 more per month to nearly 24 Republican-controlled states to help build party infrastructure. $1 million. $1 million in every state. That's $50 million. When I just told you that they have reportedly 22 million on hand, but they owe 18, so they've got 4 million, but they want to spend 50, that math ain't mathin'. And I'm a product of public schools, right? And state universities. That's not working out for me. So what are you going to do? You're going to go borrow $46 million to do what? This is the moment in time that I think we all have to sit back and enjoy a little bit and also be extraordinarily wary. Because for Hakeem Jeffries to speak with certainty, as we know, only a fool is certain, right? They got something cooking. Something cooking. 6 months is a long time to grease the skids for some reason, for some kind of fraudulent nightmare. Whether it's the hantavirus, oh no! Global warming, thank God, is dead, right? But pay close attention, because if you and I have learned anything over the last several years, it's to ask questions about everything, right? I want you to hear Dan Goldman. This is probably why things are going poorly for the Democrats, because they literally have nothing except Trump. Hate Trump. Trump did it. Trump's fault. Trump's bad. Trump's this. Trump's that. Never, this is my plan. This is who I am. I'm running against Trump, right? Dan Goldman is so desperate, isn't he? Is he from Florida, New York? Is it New York?
He'd be New York.
Okay. Congressman from New York illustrates why things are going very poorly for the Democrats. You thought the Epstein stuff was dead. No, they're trying desperately to keep it on life support. They've got the paddles. They squeezed the gel on it. They've rubbed them together. Clear. Here's Dan Goldman with what he's got. This is going to change everything for the Democrats.
I want to know what's in those 2.5 million pages, because I am almost certain right now that there is a lot more material that would implicate Donald Trump in some aspect of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking conspiracy. And I don't mean necessarily that Donald Trump is guilty of being a co-conspirator, but he was involved in some way, and perhaps in more ways than we even know about, and that is being covered up.
Right. I'm almost certain right now that there is a lot more material that would implicate Donald Trump in some aspect of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking conspiracy. That's what they have, ladies and gentlemen. Vote Democrat 2026. That's what you get. Love this story. After years of struggle, separation, and homelessness, a daughter surprises her mom with something she never thought she would have. Steve Hartman takes us on the road to Florida with a reunion that reminds us what Mother's Day is really about.
Florida.
A reminder that truly every day is Mother's Day. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it is Bad Joke Friday. Your jokes, yes, next. That was, I thought it was very sweet. Brock, you're right. You found it. And
Well, someone sent it.
right. But I mean, it's not one of those that normally would grab your attention because it's flashy, but very sweet.
And here I always thought you were crying because we ain't got 235.
What can I do?
Huh.
What can I do? I love you guys. Love you, love you. Thank you for always chiming in here. Thank you for sharing your clicks with us. And I know some of you, maybe you don't know, but that little button, that thumbs up, that helps us so much. And I really appreciate you guys clicking that every time you're here. I know we browbeat, but it's the lifeblood of how Rumble treats us and whatnot. So I appreciate you very much. So what are you going to do this weekend, Brock? We didn't talk about this. Are you going to do anything with your deck and whatnot? Your new patio?
Maybe I'll watch the game out there Sunday if it's nice. Tomorrow I get to go negotiate a trailer purchase.
A trailer purchase?
Yeah.
How so?
They are replacing my Kate's grandma's trailer. Her mom is. So they want a guy. They know I like to haggle. And I said, well, just give me a number. And I asked, do I get to keep what I save?
So I don't understand.
So like a trailer, she'll maybe say like, my budget's $20,000.
No. Oh. I don't understand. So she has a trailer.
They have like this campground.
Okay.
That has a trailer. And
so do they have property?
It's one of those campgrounds that has trailers all through it.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And I had replaced the floor. My buddy Matt and I had replaced the floor in it years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had a leak over the winter, and the floor. This trailer is probably 40 years old.
Right.
Right. And they finally said to her, we can't replace this floor is a replacement. We got 15 years out of the floor that they already replaced. So her mom basically said, I'm just going to buy a new trailer. So she asked if I would go with her because I like to dick her. And I was the one that got her last car she bought. Because she'll just walk in, and they tried to give her like 5% interest on a car. The lady has an 800 credit score.
Right.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And like it all changed the minute I opened my mouth. And I told her, I said,
it is unfortunate, but that is the case.
Yeah.
I've bought every car that we've ever purchased, and I'm sure I've gotten boned on all of them.
I like it. I like to do stuff like that. And then that Sunday, I'll probably watch the game and have a few beverages.
That's nice.
Breakfast. Of breakfast Saturday morning. What are you doing? Do you get to do anything fun?
Joe and I are going golfing. We're going to Bedford, Pennsylvania to go golfing. So we invited the twins to come along as a graduation gift. But
Oh, so
there's
you
some,
invited the twins.
So
Great.
there's some party in the woods that they're all going to be going to and whatnot. And the twins are like, party with high school students and chicks, hanging out with my parents.
So you're forcing them into a twosome so you have space.
No, we don't have space. Sadly. I should probably read these.
Wow. Do I even need to say it, people? Welcome to my world.
Well, you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. The last segment of the last show of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from New York, and boy, my arm's tired. I'm joking, of course. Anywho, welcome to the Comedy Club. Won't you give it up to Wendy and Brock for Bad Joke Friday?
Well, as always, our first joke is by Dr. Richard Rafferty from the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. Hope you are well, Doc. A wife is doing makeup early in the morning right after waking up. The husband says, "Are you serious? Like, why are you putting on makeup right now?" The wife says, "Just be quiet. I'm trying to unlock my phone. It uses face recognition. It's not recognizing me yet."
I'm gonna say.
Don't even say anything.
I'm
Brock.
not saying anything.
I don't think you should.
Yeah, I should.
There you go.
Why did the cell phone wear glasses?
I don't know.
It lost all its contacts.
Oh, God. An atheist was hiking and noticed a bear behind him on the trail. The bear was getting closer, so he stepped up his walk. The bear started getting faster, getting really close. So the guy broke out into a run, tripped over a tree root. Next thing, the bear standing over him with his claws, ready to rip him apart. "Help!" yelled the man. "Help, please, God, help me!" Appeared a very bright light. The voice said, "All this time, you never believed, and now you want me to help you? I want to be a Christian. Can't help you now." Then turn the bear into a Christian. The bear dropped, put his paws together, and said, "Lord, bless this food that I'm about to receive."
That's a good one.
I
That's
like
a good
it.
one. The couple on the way to get married, a young Catholic couple was involved in a fatal accident.
Oh.
Couple found themselves sitting outside the pearly gates waiting for St. Peter to process them into heaven. While waiting, they began to wonder, could they possibly get married in heaven? When St. Peter showed up, they asked him. St. Peter said, "I don't know. This is the first time anyone has ever asked. Let me go find out." And he left. The couple sat and waited and waited. 2 months passed, and the couple were still waiting. While waiting, they began to wonder what would happen if it didn't work out. Could they get divorced in heaven?
Ooh.
After yet another month, St. Peter finally returned, looking somewhat bedraggled or
Bedraggled. Yep,
Okay.
yep. He looks
Yes.
draggled. Yep.
He informed the couple, "You can get married in heaven." "Great," said the couple, "but we were just wondering, what if things don't work out? Could we also get a divorce in heaven?" St. Peter, red-faced, slammed his clipboard to the ground. What's wrong?" asked the frightened couple. "Oh, come on, dude," St. Peter shouted. "It took me 3 months to find a priest up here. Do you have any idea how long it's going to take me to find a lawyer?"
It's another hot day, so I took off all my clothes and opened the window. I feel better, but the other bus passengers don't seem pleased.
Why can't NASA send a duck into space?
Oh.
The bill would be astronomical.
Oh my gosh. Did you hear about the big Lego sale? Yeah, people were lined up for blocks.
A woodpecker visited the petrified forest. He said it was impeccable.
Well, where do wasps go to lunch? At the bistro. That's so stupid.
That is beyond stupid. Did you hear that Hugh Jackman was able to stop a serial arsonist from destroying another local flower shop? No. Yeah, apparently only Hugh can prevent forest fires.
I went on a date the other day with a woman who works at the zoo. I think she's a keeper.
Oh, God. When I was young, I decided to go to medical school. At the entrance exam, we were asked to arrange the letters P-N-E-I-S and name the body part that I should have pre-read. Name the body part that is most useful with this, useful when erect. Those who answered spine are doctors today, and the rest of us are on Facebook.
I got my friend, my blind friend, a cheese grater for his birthday. He said it was the most violent book he's ever read. That's gross. Sorry.
Someone asked me to name 2 structures that hold water. I was like, well, damn.
Oh my gosh. Got my forklift license last week. Gonna make eating a lot easier.
What?
Forklift. Got it.
Who can jump higher than a house? Pretty much anyone.
A 5th grade teacher asks her class how many were Kamala fans, despite not knowing what a Kamala fan was, but wanting to be liked by the teacher. They all raise their hands except for little Johnny. Teacher looks at Johnny and asks, Johnny, why are you being so different? He replies, well, I'm not a Kamala fan. Teacher asks, why aren't you a Kamala fan? Because I'm a Republican, he said. Teacher scoffs and says, oh, really? Why are you a Republican? Little Johnny responds, because my mom and dad are. She says, oh, really? Then what if your mom was a moron and your dad was an idiot? What would you say then? Little Johnny smiles and says, well, that would make me a Kamala fan. Have a great weekend. Love you guys. Peace.